Good morning, and welcome to the AM show. I'm so glad you could join us. On behalf of the team, thank you so much for always choosing us every morning. And in reviewing, we shall definitely get into the matters arising. So much happening, but first we'll start with another tragic fire outbreak. This time at the Northern School of Business in Tamale, where nearly 900 female students have been left without accommodation after a massive blaze gutted their girls' dormitory on Wednesday afternoon, destroying personal belongings and forcing schools closure. Now, this incident comes amid a worrying spate of fire across the country this month, raising fresh concerns about fire safety standards and emergency preparedness. We'll get into that. As well, in political news, the Supreme Court has overturned the Tamale High Court's judgment that had annulled the Panda parliamentary election. The Apex Court's decision restores Matthew Nyendam, Member of Parliament, reinforcing the constitutional timelines for election petitions. A little later, we shall as well get into other matters, including the Central Region. A gang of 5 armed robbers carried out a daring daylight raid on a gold shop in Diaso, making off with gold value at 800,000 Ghana cedis and escaping in a stolen pickup vehicle. We shall get into all of that, how armed robbers are getting quite bold in doing broad day armed robbery. And joining us today will be Hamza Sohini, lawyer and member of the NDC Communications team, Solomon Owusu's Director of Communications for the United Party, Kojo Poku is Executive Director, as well for Instep and member of MPP Communications team. We'll get into a lot of it. We'll bring you all of that definitely after the news and sports updates. We're always excited that you could join us with your comments and reactions. So I look forward to your comments, reactions, and your thoughts as well on all of our social media platforms. Thank you so much for joining us. I am MFA Akosiadati. The news comes up shortly. Well, thank you for staying. Let's bring you some updates in the news this morning. Now, she was staring death in the face after being diagnosed with a life-threatening brain aneurysm. But after JoyNews brought her story to light, help arrived just in time. That's a 6-year-old midwife, Rebecca Odakwe, whose desperate call for support was aired on JoyNews weeks ago, now has a renewed chance at life and at returning to the delivery room, thanks to benevolent individuals and the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, popularly known as Mahama Cares. JoyNews' Ramat Bushiru reports.
It's not been easy. Right from when I started seeing my family, and then they have to explain everything to me. I didn't expect this at all.
Rebecca Odakwe had devoted her life to caring for expectant mothers. But her own life was thrown into uncertainty when doctors diagnosed her with a brain aneurysm and warned that only urgent surgery could save her. The procedure came with a staggering cost of 210,840 Ghana cedis, an amount her family could not raise on their own.
It's not been easy. Right from when I started seeing my family, and then they have to explain everything to me. I didn't expect this at all, but today hope has come.
After JoyNews told her story, support began to pour in from the public. Benevolent individuals raised 17,000 Ghana cedis to support her treatment. Still, the amount fell far short of what was needed. Relief finally came when the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, also known as Mahama Cares, intervened. The fund fully paid for Rebecca's surgery at Eurocare Hospital, settling the entire 210,840 Ghana cedis medical bill. According to the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, the funds raised earlier have been set aside to support her post-surgery care and recovery.
We are putting in place the administrative structures and operationalization framework so that we can have a seamless system. But while we are doing that, we decided to start with a pilot phase approved by the board, which is just used to test our systems, patient onboarding, claim submission, reimbursement, just to test the system before we roll out completely by the end of the first quarter. So once we saw the story, we just looked through and we noticed that yes, indeed, we had received an application from the said patient from the hospital's letterhead, and then we were able to reach out to the media house that put out the story. That was Joy. We were able to reach out to the patient, we reached out to the hospital, and we were able to process and make the decision, and we are here to do the donation.
Ghana Medical Trust Fund showed appreciation to President Mahama and encouraged others to support the trust fund.
We are thankful to the President for this vision, and this would be a game changer as far as specialized medical care is concerned. Encourage all individuals, particularly corporate Ghana, to support this fund. Government makes an allocation, but as you can see, the bills of patients are very high, that more funds will be needed to be able to reach as many patients as possible.
What began as a story of fear and uncertainty has now become a story of hope and second chances. With her surgery secured and recovery support in place, Rebecca Odakwe is optimistic about returning to the work she loves, helping bring new life into the world. Ramat Bashiru's report, read to you.
I want to say a very big thank you to our dear President John Dramani Mahama. I thank him so much for coming to my aid. And I also want to appreciate every single soul, my colleagues, those who didn't even know of this and have never heard of this condition, but came to my aid. My church, my family, I can never do without them. I love them so much. And thank you to JoyNews. God bless you for the good work you have done.
Now, this particular excites me especially this morning, but away from health onto politics, a professor of English and linguistics at the University of Education, Winneba, has described businessman and politician Kennedy Ohene Ejapon as the ideal candidate to lead the new Patriotic Party and Ghana, as the party prepares to elect its flag bearer on Saturday. According to Professor Ayawaso East Parliamentarily, Mr. Japon's businesses and individual background positions him to prioritize job creation for the youth, an approach he believes is critical at this stage of Ghana's development.
Ahead of the MPP's presidential primary slated for Saturday, January 31, 2026, public debate continues to intensify over who is best positioned to lead the party to victory in the 2028 general elections. According to a professor of English and linguistics at the University of Education, Winneba, Professor Ayawaso East Parliamentarily, Kennedy Ohene Ejapon disciplinarian posture and firm respect for the law make him an ideal candidate to lead not only the party, but the country at large.
If you ask me, I've traveled quite a bit and talked to many people across universities, across church places and other places. And I think that Ken has a lot of support. The people are talking, and I agree with them, about the issue of the fact that they think that he can be strict and stern. Now, whilst we don't like strict and stern people, when we are going for positions with people who are strict and stern, who can let the laws work, who can let discipline prevail.
He also argues that Ghana's current economic and social challenges demand a leader with a strong business and industrial background, someone he believes will place job creation for the youth at the center.
The other reason I hear people say, which I endorse also, is the fact that he's a different leader. too many scholars, too many academics occupying such positions. Can we change and have an industrialist, somebody who makes profits, who employs and who makes losses, so they can run this country as a business, not his own business, but the country's business. So for all these, and then the fact that he's shown the acumen for job creation. He hasn't done all things. I hear somebody asking, he can't do all things. But he has shown evidence that he knows what can be done. He has done some before. He knows what is possible that we can do at many places that he has visited. For those reasons, people think that it would be better to have him as president, to have a different kind of leadership that can address our problems as a country of indiscipline, laws not working well, or productivity.
Professor Beidu further referenced public perceptions surrounding Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, while stressing that a loss for Kennedy Japan in the upcoming primaries will carry significant implications for the party.
If Ken doesn't win, it will mean the NPP hasn't done enough on their campaign to establish the truth in what accusations are being laid against Ken, and to excuse where it is possible, and to say that beyond all this behavioral issue, the issue of a president who can carry the country where it should be. That's the most important.
From Winneba, Abigail Lissel and Nkrumah reports for JoyNews.
Now, political endorsements continue to roll in ahead of the new Patriotic Party's internal primaries. On Saturday, a coalition of patriotic intellectuals and the NPP professional groups have officially thrown their support behind Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia as the party's preferred flag bearer for the 2020 general elections. Our correspondent, Inathalia Konsa, was at the press briefing and has brought this report.
The Patriotic Intellectuals of Ghana, the National Association of TESCON patrons for Bawumia, TESCON members and other professional groups within the MPP have formally endorsed Dr. Bawumia as the party's candidate for the 2028 election. In a statement, the group highlighted Dr. Bawumia's track record as Vice President of Ghana and Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, noting his experience in economic management and governance as key reasons for their support.
Convene in a spirit of patriotic duty and steadfast commitment to the progress of our beloved nation, and hereby wish to express our strongest endorsement for the candidature of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia as the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party in the upcoming internal primary scheduled for 31st January 2026. We wholeheartedly support his candidature as the most suitable candidate to lead our party into the 2028 general elections and ultimately to serve Ghana as its president.
Beyond his technical expertise, the endorsements praised Dr. Bawumia for his humility, approachability, and ability to unite Ghanaians across regional and religious divides. The group said these qualities make him the ideal leader to guide the party and the nation into the future.
It is also noteworthy that Dr. Bawumia maintains an unblemished record free from factional control or corruption scandals. His reputation as incorruptible and credible leader, combined with his demonstrated resilience during his 8-year tenure as vice president and his continued service following the 2024 electoral challenges, further solidifies his capacity to lead Ghana into a prosperous future.
Away from that, Lancaster University Ghana, in partnership with the KGL Foundation, has successfully concluded its 8-week Emerging Technology Center bootcamp, a transformative hands-on learning program designed to introduce young people to emerging technologies and practical innovation. The bootcamp brought together over 30 senior high school students from 10 underserved and international schools. The program offered participants the chance to explore the fundamentals of robotics, microcontrollers, and smart systems development. There's more in the following report.
The pilot program trained over 100 high school students across 32 cohorts, exposing them to artificial intelligence, robotics, the Internet of Things, blockchain technology, and the use of microcontrollers to develop practical real-world solutions. Dr. Iman Olatha, Provost and Acting CEO of Lancaster University Ghana, says, as technology continues to shape the future, early exposure is critical in preparing the next generation.
These are students who don't have any science background, and yet they found the program very, very useful. So the first thing we wanted to do is to demystify technology and make it that irrespective of your background, it is possible for you to get involved in these new technologies, emerging technologies. Secondly, it's our give back to society. I think that we owe an obligation to the next generation of children that costs or money shouldn't be a determination of their access.
For the KGL Foundation, which supported the initiative, nurturing young talents with cutting-edge technology remains a top priority. Edwin Osmonamte, public relations lead for the foundation, shared insights on the organization's support.
If you look at the foundation's key thematic areas, we have 5, being art and culture, health, education, sports, youth empowerment, and entrepreneurship. It actually cuts across 2 or 3 main focus areas, and it aligns perfectly with what the foundation wants to churn out. That's a Ghanaian community that is well developed. Is growing initiatives to solve home problems.
Some of the students who took part also shared their experiences and showcased the projects they developed during the program.
The project was a baby suitor. It must be able to detect baby cries, send notice to the mother, and also sing lullaby for the baby. We did this because we got to know that most parents are afraid or scared whenever they hear their baby cry because they don't know what actually is wrong with their baby.
We made a project known as Sign Aloud. And Sign Aloud is a software that converts hand signs to speech. So this is mainly for people who use sign language to communicate, or mainly for deaf people who can't communicate with people like us. So they have to use sign language.
Supported by the KGL Foundation, the program is set to expand with plans to provide seed funding to help students further develop and commercialize their promising ideas. The Emerging Technologies Weekend Immersive Program is part of Lancaster University Ghana's wider effort to expand access to STEM education and inspire the next generation of innovators.
Time now for some updates in business, and we have currency market. Now, economist Dr. Ofosu has welcomed the Bank of Ghana's decision to cut the monetary policy rate to 15.5%, predicting it will boost private sector growth. He believes the reduction is expected to lower borrowing costs for businesses and households, stimulating investment and economic activity. Speaking on the impact of the rate cut, Dr. Sarkodie noted that the move signals economic recovery on a positive trajectory. He emphasized the need for the government and the central bank to consolidate gains made towards easing inflation further downward.
Well, if the cost of lending is is lowered, you'd expect an increment in the private sector credit growth. So we hope to see a positive growth in the private sector credit. The areas to benefit most also will align with the government's vision. We saw the agricultural transformation agenda of the government, so we expect farmers to benefit from a lower lending rate. We also know of the manufacturing policies of the government. We know of mining. We know of tourism. In fact, all sectors of the economy are likely to benefit from this a possible lower lending rate. So we just have to position our country. One thing that we always stress as an economist is that our country, our economy is still vulnerable. We have to develop the base. And I was happy to hear from your intro that the President of the Republic is thinking of, having 100% ownership of the gold exports in the country, which is something we have been talking about for years. Gold alone accounts for 65% of our total exports, and is more than Ghana's total revenue and grants. So if we're able to command a greater share of our resources, then we are good to go. So this is positive, and I believe that all sectors of the economy will benefit going forward.
Also, Chairman of the Advisory Board of the African Trade Chamber, Sir Sam Jonah, has charged African leaders to engineer policies to make the continent selfish in its development agenda. Speaking at the opening of the Africa Trade Summit, the business mogul said, with the vast resources on the continent, raw materials and minerals should not be exported without value addition.
Ladies and gentlemen, Africa, with its 1.4 billion people, with its vast resources and youthful dynamism, is no weakling. We are the emerging force that can redefine the table, or we will risk being served upon it. This is the moment for Africa to be selfish, unapologetically so, boldly selfish in pursuing our interests. No more deference to distant agendas, no more exporting raw material potential while importing finished dependency. Selfish means prioritizing Africa first, beneficiating our minerals on African soil, processing our agriculture into global grants, manufacturing pharmaceuticals that secure our health sovereignty. Selfish means demanding fair terms in every deal, rejecting exploitation disguised as aid, and leveraging our collective weight to negotiate from strength. Kani urged middle powers to stop pretending about the other's flaws, to name realities and act. Africa, let us name it. The old world profited from our fragmentation. The new world demands our unity. Let's be selfish, yes, but in a way that uplifts all Africans, creating jobs that dignify, wealth that recirculates, and futures that inspire.
That's how we wrap up the news for this morning, but shortly after me will be commodities and sports updates.
I say from Kotoku comedy any day, Kwana Sepa, Wiki be a shop, is no spare parts in a wiring.
Union to link from Kotoku, linking Accra, Medina, and the rest is very short distance, but due to the bad nature of the road, we are suffering.
It delays our movement. Then also, before you get back to wherever you're going, you get tired. You have waste problems.
At the Ajay Kotoku Onion Market in the Gawes municipality, Osman Mohammed Sidi plies his trade. He sells onions transported from northern Ghana and neighboring countries. He and hundreds of other traders were relocated here from the Agbeglochi market as part of a decongestion exercise. But years on, access to the market remains a major challenge. Osman says the stretch of road linking Media, 3 Junction and Ajay Kotoku has deteriorated badly, making business costly and uncertain.
Road linking from 3 Junction to Ajay Kotoku, Media to Ajay Kotoku. Even when Mr. President, when he came during the campaign, he came to Ajay Kotoku here. We made that concern to him that Mr. President, the former government, they promised us that they are bringing us to Ajay Kotoku. We made a lot of complaints, and the roads are the key this thing, which is linking the customers to the onion market. But yes, still they didn't do it. And Mr. President too, Jamal, who also came to the Ajay Kotoku market to come and do his campaign, we made this complaint to him. We've been complaining several times that the road, you can see yourself, there are a lot of onions here, but the customers are not coming. The customers are complaining about the road. If you come, even the drivers, if they come, they said you want to carry the load from Ajay Kotoku to, let's say, link Agbeglochi or Medina, they'll charge huge amount due to the bad nature of the road. If not because of that, onion to link from Ajay Kotoku, linking Accra, Medina, and the rest is very short distance. But due to the bad nature of the road, we are suffering. We are suffering. We need the government to come into it. We are suffering.
Osman is not alone. Fellow trader Zeba Abdul Samad shares the same sentiment.
Our main problem is the road, because there are a lot of people from Kasua to this place. Because of the road, they don't come. You see, especially from 3 Junction. 3 Junction to this market, the road is very, very, very bad. You see, at times when it rains, it's not easy. So that's our problem. And what do we call it? The Media Junction. From Media Junction to this place to the same thing. Rough road.
But it is not only the traders who are affected. Drivers and commuters who use the road say its poor condition has made travel increasingly difficult.
Ani de asepa from Kotoku comedy ani de kwana sepa week bia be ko shop esi anso no spare parts ne boy den nti yes man na so maybe be found my why pomacho passengers nso mo complain sa who afa na na driver to me bona me sisi ni nyina ya kwana enye ni nti anti yes man so me be kwana my why pomacho wa ba no me be kwana my na we dey bre.
It delays our movement. Then also, before you get back to wherever you're going, you get tired. You have waste problems. And, at least they should fix it for us. If not the asphalt, the normal ones, I think it will be okay. And you can imagine coming, the stress that you pass through. The drivers don't want to even come.
The road hasn't always been like this, but residents say over the years a lack of maintenance and heavy-duty trucks plying this route has made it difficult to use.
Beyond the market, the Media Ajay Kotoku stretch serves as a key access road to several factories. The poor state of the road slows the movement of trucks supplying goods to these businesses. At At the Kotoku Electoral Area Office, Assembly Member Udate Mohammed admits the state of the road is stifling development and discouraging new investment.
When the road is done, for first one, the industries, I think their business is going to grow. A lot of other companies will come and buy their products. Because of the road, a lot of companies are willing to come to some of the companies, but because of the road, they are not coming. They are comparing it to a place that the road, it's good for them, so that at least going to a mechanic or doing maintenance will be less. So it's my dream that when the road is constructed, the companies on the stretch of from Media to Kotoku, their business is going to boom. And I'm praying that the road should be fixed.
He also points to steps being taken to address the issue.
Well, I remember the last assembly meeting, I asked a question to Engineer Edrin. He works with the urban roads. I said, Honorable, when is the road going to be fixed from Media to Kotoku? He said, Honorable, your road is 4.2 kilometers. We are waiting to come and do a feasibility studies. When the feasibility studies is done, I can assure you that the road will be fixed.
For traders and commuters, they say until repairs are done, the challenges along the Media-Ajen-Kotoku road will persist. For JoyNews, I am Ofori-Atta.
Well, thank you so much for staying with us. This is the AM show. We're about to review the news. A lot of matters are rising. It was a happy day in court for the NPP. We'll also explore, because we hear that the NDC says they will also explore all other avenues. What's the only avenue available? A review? But will the Supreme Court review its own decision? Very rarely, but we'll get into that. Joining us this morning is Kojo Poku, Executive Director, INSTEB, and member of the NPP Communications team, Solomon Owusu, Director of Communications for the United Party. We shall be later joined by Hamza Suhini, his lawyer and member of the NDC Communications team. Well, maybe later we just might get some clarification from Tanko Computer along the way on the show. But gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Have I seen you this year?
Yes, we've seen several times this year.
Okay, forgive me.
The other time I was here, Kojo was here, you were here, and you were providing the moral support to the team.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. I remember.
And
usually
we actually discussed this very thing that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
And my friends from the NDC were so hopeful. And I told them that their ruling and the evidence we put before court was so strong, and we felt strongly that looking at the black and white before the court, it would be difficult for them not to rule for the MPP. And they disagreed. And I mean,
we're here today.
We are here today.
Okay, we'll get into it. It's a major matter on our desk this morning. So, Solomon, I hope you're well. Let's just run through the headlines before we get into the matters arising. So, the Chronicle this morning is reporting how Ashanti region backs Brian after delivering his message of hope to 11,000 delegates. That's in front of the Chronicles this morning. An APL poll reveals Bawumia will win one touch. This is the Chronicle. If it was my father, I would say one touch. Well, the Chronicle is reporting it. And as well, Samuel Abujinapo says that Bawumia will bring victory to the NPP. That is the Chronicle this morning. The overseer says that raw commodity exports stifling Africa's growth. President Mahama. Story is on page 3 of the overseer this morning. And NPP primaries marred by insult, lax policy and leadership ideas. Lamting Apanga has been speaking. That story is in the overseer, and as well the topical story. Supreme Court overturns High Court judgment on the Panda election. And on the NDC, you must be aware that the widow of the late MP for Ayawaso East constituency has as well filed a nomination to contest for that seat, Hajia Amina Adam. And the story is as well in the overseer this morning. I'll do the daily guide as well. Supreme Court retains Nyendamas Kwandai MP. NDC Kwandai review plan unnecessary. This is from the minority, and a picture of John Darko as well over there. My vision for NPP. Ghana sets me apart. My vision for NPP, and maybe I think they meant Ghana, sets me apart. The story is on page 3, and this is by Dr. Yawo Osei Educhum. Picture and the story as well is in the daily guide on page 3. Then BOG cuts policy rate to 15.5%. Story is on page 9. And earlier I told you about that broad daylight robbery that happened in the central region. The story is on page 6 as the update is that police arrest 4 gold robbers, and it's in page 6 of the daily guide this morning. The daily graphic this morning. I'm committed to party welfare, Dr. Baumia. Story is on page 13. Nyindam remains Pandai MP Supreme Court rules. Story is on 13. BOG drops policy rates to 15.5%. Story is on page 27. And protecting forest reserves from Galamsey. Chiefs, residents call for military camps. The story is on page 3 of the daily graphic this morning. I think that will be all. Maybe the insights, as well as tipping poll tips Brian to win NPP race. Surges past Bamia and Ken in latest FGAP survey. And let me see what the FGAP survey means. The Future Governance Analytic Project, FGAP survey of New Patriotic Party. That's the updates they are also providing. That will be all for the insights as well and for the newspapers. Let's get into the matters arising. Solomon, I hope you had a good week. Your week has been good so far?
We can't complain. It could be better, but we are still hopeful that things will fall in place. Yes.
So before we get into elections and we even go into the Supreme Court decision, again, this month we have recorded so much fire outbreaks, so much, with the latest one recording about 900 students from the Northern Business School that they have been displaced, and that's quite worrying.
Exactly.
I don't know, could you,
it's a problem that has existed. Fire outbreaks mostly tend to be electrical. Most fire outbreaks tend to be electrical. Inferior electrical wiring, inferior conductors, Look, I think we really need to empower Ghana Standard Authority to do a lot of things in this country. The amount of fakes, the amount of inferior goods coming into the country is really disturbing. And when there are, or should I say, when there is a fluctuation in currency, right? Depending on the conductors, the wiring, and how tight even the knot that screws down the wire is, there can be a spark. So electricity is very delicate. It acts in a very, in a way that if you're not careful. I'll give you an example. I think a couple of days ago, we were having an event in Ashtown, and the next minute, the light in the venue went off. We went out, and the meter in the compound caught fire.
The meter itself?
The meter itself was on fire. The wiring, because you see, I don't even want to try without even boring the listeners and viewers with technicalities. But there is a way that when there's a fluctuation in current, right, it sparks. And when it sparks and the insulators and stuff around the metering doesn't, is not of good quality, it can catch fire. And that's one of the major causes of fire. It's happened in my house before in Kumasi. It's happened in various places and various people that I know. Most of these market fires and all these things is caused by electrical fire. So unless people try to, and that's rare when people turn on something on and catch, it's rare. Especially when a place is there, nobody's there, isolated in the middle of the night and it catches fire. It's mostly to do with electrical.
I see. Solomon, Kojo believes that this is electrical. Usually when I engage the fire service, you hear them say that most of them behavioral patterns. People just don't care about how they will stay safe. They don't even care about turning off switches or anything that can at least catch fire. But Kojo has drilled it a little further, says that, well, you can care enough, but if the things you're using to wire, the things that can catch fire are inferior, you nearly can't escape it no matter how careful you are. What's the role of Energy Commission in this?
They have a vital role to play. I understand now, before your house is wired, you need some levels of certification from them. They have been able to register these electricians. Before you can conduct any business on any house, you must produce that certificate. As to whether or not the actual implementation is taking place, as to whether or not people are actually monitoring to see that those that are actually certified as the ones doing the business is another matter. But like you rightly said, we don't really care about our safety. Because if you really care about your safety, you take the necessary steps to do what is right. You go to various localities, and sometimes I understand why people pray continuously. Well, it's as though they have given their life to Christ to do what they are supposed to do as human beings. You understand? And for me, it's very worrying. Let's take care of our own safety. And also the standard authority, like you rightly mentioned, must do a bit more. The sort of goods that we bring to this country are so inferior. But do you also blame them that much? The Ghanaian or the consumer will always act rationally. They are looking for cheaper goods, products. And cheaper goods comes with its own risk.
Yeah.
So to the extent that we are looking at what is cheap, I think it is better for the standard authority to intervene so that we can save the situation.
Well, beyond the National Ghana Fire Service saying that people really don't take their safety into their hands seriously the way you'd expect them to. They also say that usually assessing a place when there's a fire is very difficult. When it happened behind a circle right here, accessibility was a problem.
Yes.
When it happened in Kaswa, accessibility was a problem. But for a dormitory such as this one, I am not sure that accessibility will be the problem. It just might come back to Kojo and your point.
And also, if you go to various institutions, one of the things that I've observed, you see all students always go to the aid of their alma mater. They go and put up structures here and there. But what is missing in these institutions is a viable and a very strong estate unit. If they had a working estate unit, it means the estate officer would be doing a periodic inspection to ascertain whether or not the dormitories, the various classrooms have what it takes to be fit for human habitation.
Yeah.
But because they don't do that, because it's absent, they do anything. I think this should be an eye-opener that estate departments will be formed in all these institutions and we get the right personnel. Don't just go and form an estate unit and go and put a teacher there. The teacher's role is to be a teacher so that the teacher will teach. Go out there and get those that have done certificates or degrees in estate management to be manning these institutions. Now, with this small mistake, it is going to cost the government that much to be able to fix it. I understand 900 students have been asked to go home. Till what time are they going to come back? It's going to affect their own academic journey, and it may not be good for all of us as a country.
Okay. Hamza, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Well, not bad.
Okay. Have you had a good day? Yesterday wasn't a good day for the NDC in court.
Oh, I think that I disagree.
You disagree?
Yesterday was just like any other normal day. especially for a political party that is committed to the rule of law. And I understand that not all decisions will go your way, especially in an environment that is clearly accommodative when it comes to views, and a system that privileges rule of law over petty partisanship. We've always canvassed for that. We've always advocated for that. So for us, it was not just a defeat for the National Democratic Congress that we were concerned about. We're also excited, regardless of the disagreements we might have had with the judgment. We're also excited about the fact that, look, for the first time in a long while, our judicial architecture appears to be working in the way that many of us would desire it to work, not more or less dancing to the whims and caprices of a political party. We saw that in the last 8 years.
We'll get into
when the NPP was in power.
Get
so
into
for us, it is another disguised form of victory, and we celebrate it.
Let's talk about, I mean, your co-panelists have also made a comment about the recent fire outbreaks. Too many of it. For this month only, for a news anchor, I can count so many places that has happened, like fire was gutted, and it's just a problem that we wake up in the morning, we talk about it. It's as if we know what the problem is. We anticipate it, but we don't anticipate how to curb it. And recent one is happening in the northern region. 900 students displaced.
Yes, and I think that whether I like it or not, I am going to feel the pressure of what happened in the northern region, because that is clearly my brother's constituency. And I don't think that this is even the first time that particular school is recording something of this nature. I remember somewhere last year, we had another unfortunate situation where windstorms blew off the roofing of, I think, one of their lecture halls or something to that effect. But the school has been there for almost, God knows, I think over 40 years or so. The former finance minister under the NPP regime, Dr. Mohamed Amin Anta, and co, I'm told, attended that particular school. I know, as a matter of fact, that even as finance minister, he also attempted to bring some kind of developments to the school. But you see, MFA, regardless, despite the fact that sometimes when it comes to issues of this nature, we concentrate on state institutions, there's the need for us to also begin to look at institutional culture as well. And the kind of monitoring that goes on in our senior high schools. I remember those days when we were in senior high school, there used to be constant monitoring of dormitories to ensure that students do not have heaters, cooking utensils that had something to do with electricity. And so many of these measures in the past more or less prevented avoidable fire outbreaks of this nature. Because as students, we are exploring, we would like to explore, especially at that age. And so if care is not taken, when we get the opportunity, there are so many things we do that threatens not just the stability of the educational environment, but to a very large extent, even our own lives. And so let us go back to that culture where we get to enforce monitoring mechanisms in our senior high schools and ensure that appliances that are not supposed to be used are not used. And you can only ensure this sanity if you're able to put in place an effective monitoring mechanism. Because as for students, we can do all manner of things. But then again, what kind of inspection goes on in the senior high schools, especially by ECG and the likes? In the case of the northern region, NETCO. From time to time, many of these institutions, there's the need for them to go inspect what happens in these institutions and ensure that the needed maintenance works are carried out to forestall many of these occurrences. It is a sad situation, but I believe that the government needs to respond timely and appropriately. The Member of Parliament, knowing him as a big brother, I am sure the whole of today, he would be on that matter, and we will do everything within our power to ensure that the students are supported to get back to school, even if it is a temporary measure that needs to be put in place so that they do not lose out in terms of the academic calendar. That would be done. But this also calls for a window for us to take advantage of when it comes to inspecting the nature of power generation in many of these senior high schools, not just in Northern School of Business, the likes of Tamasco, Ghanasco, and across the country. There's the need for the ECG to develop a system where we can have a special unit to take stock nationwide when it comes to the electricity supply in many of these senior high schools. This is disheartening. And so many people could have lost their lives as a result of this. And we should not subject our future generation to this kind of problematic systems.
Right. Thank you for sharing your opinion on this. So we're also joined by Rashid Tanko Computer. He, of course, when it comes to election for the NDC, plays a major role there. Thank you so much for joining us, Doc. So you will talk about the fire outbreak shortly, but I just put on the record that he is here particularly to talk about Panda and the way forward and touch a little bit on the Ayawaso East processes so far. So, Doc, you have seen in the northern region, Hamza has just told us how it would even impact him personally. For you as well, I know that you come from that area.
Very well. I mean, I saw the thing, very terrible. I mean, it's a terrible situation. Knowing the environment there and then the catchment area of the students, where they are coming from. I mean, government will quickly have to move in to restore the place back quickly, because we cannot afford asking them to go home. I mean, if you look at the buildings, the extent of damage is severe. And so I can assure you, government will do something about it. I know the MP from that area is hardworking MP, hardworking young man, very passionate about education and all that. So he quickly moved in. And then thankfully, the educational minister is somebody we trust a lot. He has his eye on matters of this nature. And I know he is not going to mince words in trying to restore back the facility so that the students can go back and then continue their education. It's a terrible thing. I would just pray that nobody was hurt. It's just the property and all that. We thank God for that, for their lives, the students' life. Imagine this reason fire had consumed a future leader. That would have been too much. But we'll give thanks to Almighty Allah for rescuing all the students. And then we hope that Fire Service will give us a quick report on it, what really went wrong, what happened, and this phenomenon happened. Because it's really bad, really bad. Yes.
Except that it's happening too many times, especially in this month. We've recorded too much fire outbreaks. But let's get to the 4-1 decision by the Supreme Court that annulled that election of the new Patriotic Party's parliamentary candidates for Panda, Matthew Nyendam. And I'll start with Kojo, because countless times Kojo on this table got me to believe that he anticipated these results from the Supreme Court. Of course, he says that when he looks at all the factors and all the facts and all the issues that were raised, he's not surprised that this morning we're here and talking about the victory for the NPP. Kojo?
Yeah, before I get on, I want to thank the Almighty God for the blessing he's given Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and he's the only candidate that has successfully done 276 constituencies.
He has?
Yes. Been to every single constituency, 276 constituencies.
He was in Boko.
Every constituency he has been. Now, there are candidates who are doing Zoom. There are candidates who are massing people to stadiums. There are candidates, he has been to every single constituency, 276.
Cannot be.
So now, let's now move on. My brother, I'm saying God should bless somebody and you want to talk about something. 276.
I've only asked
how does that even concern you? Oh, let me talk about education. I don't need that education. I'm just saying God should bless and give.
But he said he has been to the 276 constituencies.
That's why you have a counter view. The man is MPP. He says his candidate.
I'm asking whether he was in Boko.
Why Boko?
Because I know he was not in Boko.
So it couldn't have been 276, right?
What are we talking about here?
You see, my sister, this morning.
Yes.
I just want to be in a good mood.
No, it's not good mood.
The beauty of it is that I could you focus sit here with the beauty. You can see that the big man Swede and this my brother is a Fafranto, which I don't even know where that's coming from. But we'll handle that. But let me make my submission.
The United Party.
I don't even know where that comes from. Let me make my submission. We want to say a very good morning to Dr. Bawumia, and we wish him well on Saturday. Now, let me get to the point I was making. My brother, Computer Tanko, should have come here with a rock, not a stone, for me.
He has come with what?
A rock? With a rock,
not
a stone. Because we sat here, and I told him that the evidence presented to the court is so solid that it will be difficult for the court to rule otherwise. The simple reason is that the court had a previous ruling on Akwatia. The Akwatia ruling was basically part of a gazetting. Akwatia was gazetted on the 24th of December. Walensee was gazetted on 24th December. Pandai, 24th December. Bimbila, 24th December. So if the court sat and used that gazetted date for the Akwatia ruling, it would be difficult for them to accept the 6th January gazetting, which they were relying on. And he said, I said, okay, no problem. Let's go to court. Now, Gary Nimakon Esquire, lawyer, beautiful brain, went to court, espoused his opinion, put all the documents in front of the court, and we've seen the results, 4-1. So that's more unanimous, right? I mean, at the end of the day, 4-1 is the best you can get, because if you go for review, which my brother talked about, they only are 2. So there's a panel of 5. Yeah. You go for a review, become 7. The 4 will not change their vote. So you are still going to end up with what? 4-3. So I think this is dead. It's not supposed to. Yes, you end with 4-3. Because if the 2 that come on,
that's not. You are not speaking the law.
Oh, what am I?
Because even the initial 4, in this particular instance, who have ruled in favor of the NPP's Matthew Nyindam, there's the tendency that in a review application, some of them may change their position.
Yeah, but they've ruled now. Well, the point I'm making, when you say I'm not speaking the law, we have had precedents. When the cases against Chachu and the Attorney General, Chachu and Attorney General, when Anado was AG, when there was a review, the people who stated, who were part of the change their votes, I mean, why would you've written your ruling? No. Give me the precedents where Supreme Court justices have changed.
It has happened a number of times.
Give me a case.
It has happened a number of times.
Give me a case.
Listen.
No,
I need to provide.
I'm saying give me a case. Don't just say, no, my brother, you're a lawyer. If you want to say something, give me a case. Where in this case, this judge sent a rule in favor.
I will respond to you.
Well, that's fine. You should do that. But I'm saying that for you to make we want to educate the populace. What I'm saying is that my brother Tanko yesterday said that they are looking at option of review. We are saying that is an effort in futility. It wouldn't yield anything. The honorable MP of Pandai is an MP. He's going to sit in his seat in Parliament, and we move on. He came and said, Suhini came and said that, look, he is happy because it's a victory in disguise. It's a victory for rule of law. Yes, we all agree. Everybody that takes something to court and had the hard evidence to go to court should be happy and believe in the judiciary that they will deliver the justices that need to be delivered. This thing about a review, yes, review is the prerogative and the freedom of everybody that wants to exercise it, right? So they can go ahead and do that. But the point I'm making is that if anybody wants to sit on this panel and say that judges Supreme Court justices who have ruled in one side and have dissented and changed their vote, give me cases where that has happened. Don't just make a case that they can, because there's no precedent as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Hamza, let me go to Tanko, because he has to leave a bit earlier, and then when you're during your submission, you respond to a few of the things you want to. Mr. Tanko, is the day after the decision or the ruling?
MFA.
Yes.
Let me say good morning to you.
Good morning. You can't see me in the other glasses.
And then the Sulu, for honorable, I know why it's wearing white, but it's a short sleeve.
I'm not wearing white.
I see that your long sleeve is white.
It's blue.
I
think you wear the other glasses because it's blue.
It's white, yeah.
It's blue and white.
It's white. The colors are all white. Yes, my good friend, Counsel Hamza is here. MFA. You see, Ghana is a very interesting country. Just 4 days ago, a group of people held press conference and ran down the Supreme Court and called the Chief Justice all manner of names. 3 days later, they got a favorable ruling in the Supreme Court they were running down. And yesterday, quickly wrote a press statement thanking the Supreme Court and thanking everybody and saying rule of law. What kind of hypocrisy is? How will you describe it? Take a Longman dictionary and define this for me.
Well, but if they are not happy,
they are not happy.
Judiciary does
when they were calling them names,
redress.
when they were calling them names, as if they were just some primary school boys and girls who are sitting at the Supreme Court.
Are these
did you go through the press conference very well? And the kind of words they use against the Chief Justice.
But it
and calling him that he was going on thank you tour.
But it didn't take away the role of the judiciary.
I am saying that is the kind of the beauty. You can't see this under any government, only under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the beauty of democracy, allowing the institutions to function, the judiciary. Now you're asking me of Panda. We're coming back to it. See the matter we dealt with at the Supreme Court. I'll give you an analogy. Somebody has stolen my goat. And he's caught with the goat red-handed. Now we've gone to police station to report. Then the police are telling us that we came late in the afternoon instead of morning. We should have brought the thief in the morning, but we came in the afternoon. So we should let the thief go with the goat. They are not going to accept the person for prosecution. That is what is happening in Panda.
So
that is the issue.
So what?
Can't you see that? Somebody has rigged an election.
Yeah.
We have sent the matter to court.
Yeah.
The court has cross-examined them. We started the matter in January.
Yes.
We cross-examined, look, at case management. Their lawyers were there. The Nyindam lawyers, Electoral Commission lawyers, this 5th January, they brought it. It isn't NDC. They brought it. Go and check the affidavit that they filed at the Tamale High Court, praying the court to dismiss our 23rd application. Paragraph 8 of it, they made mention of 5th January Gazette notification as a global gazette which the court should rely on and dismiss the NDC application.
If I come along with your explanation and with your analogy, what's the challenge? So it suggests to me that the analogy means that you have a problem with the timelines generally, constitutionally, but it's not because the act didn't happen.
That's where I'm coming. I'm saying that they shouldn't celebrate because, you see, we are talking about representation of the people. The people came out and voted for a particular candidate. One person, through crooked means with the Electoral Commission, in concert, stole the election. The High Court judge made reference to 2 polling stations where Martin Nyindam got 1,400. Another polling station, 1,200. You and I know that there's no polling station like that in Ghana.
So if you go to court, I mean, we're working with our lawyers.
I defer to them. The lawyers are here. They will tell you. I defer to them. Look, procedure is as important as the case itself, right? But you see, it doesn't negate the act itself. And that is what we are doing now to ourselves. And that is what we want to see the reasoning on the 6th of February to arrive at a decision. Because look, it means that I can go and rig an election and use crooked means, crooked technical means, and then the court will rule in my favor, and I'll go and be priding myself as an MP or as a president. That's how they did in 2020.
But you who feel that you have been rigged, what happened to just adhering to the laws and the rules?
What we are saying is this. We didn't bring the 5th January Gazette to court. It wasn't a DC. Look, I have it here. I can give it to you. The other time I came here and I gave it. This is a written address by counsel for Nyindam, addressing the court before the court made the ruling. And his written address is here. He never, not even part of it, that he made reference to an issue about Gazette. None. Issues set down for trial. 3 issues were set down. And we all agreed. At the case management, the lawyers were there, Electoral Commission. That is why I'm saying that we cited them for fraud. You know that we are taking another leg. Very soon, some people are going to be hot. NDC is going to take the issue of fraud because, look, false representation, it's a criminal act. That's fraud. They will tell you. The lawyers will tell you. In the same matter.
In the same matter.
Do you know that they brought that in, forcefully representing themselves as haven't gotten a proper gazette of 6th January. And force the court to take a decision on it based on that.
When we get to the lawyer, we'll get to
Good, but I'm saying that in our affidavit that we filed at the Supreme Court, we made reference to the fraud perpetrated by these 2 bodies.
Were seeking. You're saying that what the Supreme Court has granted them is not part of the reliefs they were seeking. Is that it?
No. See, what they are looking for at the Supreme Court, they were talking of gazette that we file outside the mandatory 21 days. That's what they are looking for.
Okay.
They are not talking about the veracity of the matter or the case as ruled at the High Court. None. They are not going to the matter.
What we are saying is that the case should have been heard.
You see, my brother.
The case shouldn't have been heard.
I am saying that, you see, that is where the problem, you see, where they are running away from. why you have stolen my goat. Bring the goat. We have catch you. You are saying that we shouldn't talk about it.
There is a thing called. Hold on.
Let's face it.
If you say on the goat issue you're talking about, let's say in the area where you live, if your goat goes missing in less than 2 hours, report it or you can report it. Let's say it's the law.
Yeah.
That if your goat missing in 2 hours, report it in 2 hours or you can report it. Then you go and report the goat lost in 4 hours. The law says report it in 2 hours. So why are you not abiding by rules of regulation?
Okay, so now that
somebody must have stolen your goat, yes, but you didn't report it.
Kojo, so I should allow you to go in. Enjoy your appointed
The law says that.
That's what you have people have.
Listen, rule of law.
So do you agree that you have stolen the goat?
See,
that is why we are saying that.
Please, my brother, Suhini said, we should applaud the rule of law. The rule of law says everybody lives beneath the law. When the law says something, abide by it.
Kojo, that's why the NDC is a law-abiding political.
Thank you. So let's move on.
And we indicated yesterday that we respect the decision of the Apex Court.
Okay.
But we disagree with the ruling.
Does it end there?
It doesn't end there.
What would
That is
you
why
do?
we are saying that on the safe, the reasoning will come out.
Okay.
We'll take it. Our lawyers are there. They will look at it and advise us appropriately. Look, when it happened at Suhum, you know, the Ofori-Atta High Court ruled against it in the Suhum.
Akwetia, you're
No,
Suhum.
Suhum recently. There was a ruling too.
Okay.
Parliamentary.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we lost it.
Yes.
We accepted it and thanked the judiciary. We didn't hold press conference to run down the justice. When it happened in Tamale.
You are okay with that one?
No, we're fine with it.
Okay.
When it happened in Tamale, Kojo and his group held press conference and ran down the judge there. In fact, the judge himself, I'm sure he will be thinking a lot why he accepted to be a judge in Ghana. Because the kind of words they use against that judge, only God knows. These are the people we are talking of. Today, they are getting favorable ruling and they are clapping for everybody. NDC is not like them. We are the respecters of the law. And then that's why I'm saying that we respect them.
When you look at the reasoning, when you look at the reasons, the only option available for you would be what? A review.
Of course, we'll go for a review.
A review.
And I'm happy lawyer Hamza was trying to help my brother.
We'll get
in the
we'll
review. These the four. Don't be surprised, some of them will change their mind. We have seen it here, severally in Ghana here.
Where? What?
It's happened severally.
I'll be interested in that.
I like to
Hamza, can I go to Solomon then I'll come to you?
This is
Solomon, you wrap it all out.
This is important. This is important. I think that, my brother, if you are not familiar with the laws of this country, the reasonable thing is to be patient and abreast yourself with the legalities. And this happened under you. When President Kufuor was president in 2000, between 2000 to 2008, the revered Jachuchu took a case to court challenging the constitutionality of the fast-track court. When they were empaneled, the initial decision, Justice Sophia Akufo agreed with Jachuchu that court was unconstitutional. On a review application, Justice Sophia Akufo changed her position and agreed with the government that indeed that same court was constitutional. You wanted an authority. I have given you one. And that tells you that the fact that these four judges today are of the view that the NDC's case is not backed by the electoral laws does not mean
that's not what it says.
That in a further application.
No. You see, the page in front is that there's a gazette, there's a date.
But that's the law. That's the law.
Okay,
that's the law.
Okay, go.
Are you listening to me? It's not backed by law. That's in simple terms.
Okay.
The High Court did not have jurisdiction to entertain the matter.
Thank you.
That same Supreme Court, on a review application, it does not mean that you take the four as binding in a review application and assuming that they won't change their mind. Because the precedence is there. That is the essence of review application. You may even have a situation where all four on a review application would conclude that indeed the earlier decision was wrong and change their stance. It is done.
What are the two ways in which the Supreme Court will review its own decision?
Well, we are coming in. That's what I'm saying. That there was
generally before.
No, I'll get to that because I have to. There was another leg to the matter. Fraud. I told you, fraud vitiates everything. Fraud. We have cited Electoral Commission and MPP for fraud. In fact, one of the judges, the 5 judges, the panel who sat 2 weeks earlier, when we were in Supreme Court, Gary Nimaku is a learned person. Do you know what he did? he intelligently avoided the fraud to address the issue of the fraud. So they asked him, after making your delivery, you have not spoken about the issue of the fraud. Interested parties are citing you for fraud. You know what they said? That it was a genuine mistake. They are praying the court to pardon them. That mistake of bringing the 6th January and making the High Court judge to make a ruling based on the 6th January, that it was a genuine mistake. Who told you it's a genuine mistake? They knew what they were doing. And so that matter, we are going to pursue that matter. Could your people, it hasn't, look, the game has just started.
What game? There is a ruling.
We are going to.
You say you accept it.
I said
that's fine. Let's move on.
You
have other avenues available to you.
That's the avenue we are going to follow.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, as and when we address it, but for
because that one is a fraud.
Into that.
Okay,
That's
a serious matter. I want to hear Solomon on this. You'd go at 8. I still have some.
But you are yet to come to me, right?
Sorry, I want you. We'll get into the legalities of the matter, but I want to hear Solomon on this.
Well, if I were Nyendam, I would be highly disappointed.
Nyendam?
Yes.
The person whose seat is
absolutely, he's now a lame MP.
What does that mean?
Because the decision at the High Court still stands that the election in Panda was rigged for him.
How does it stand? It's been squashed. How does it stand? No, in your view or in the court of law?
But am I here speaking your view?
No, but you can't. But say in my opinion. But don't say that. Say your view. Because there's the Supreme Court.
No, but there's no. What from this?
No.
This argument, I don't know.
Say if you were him, you'll be disappointed because it doesn't stand. The Supreme Court has squashed it. So say in my view.
But who is speaking here?
No, but you are generalizing it. Say in your view.
But could you let him?
Yes, so he should correct himself.
You started this whole discussion by peddling an obvious untruth. That your candidate Baobia had visited 276.
Oh, my brother, make your submission and stop
which
this
is not
thing.
true. You must apologize to your viewers.
We have done 276 constituencies. You have alternative view, bring it. Let's move.
Oh, so
I'm telling you, we've done.
Is that how you have reduced your program?
How do you know?
How do you know you've not done 276?
He has not visited the Moku areas, and I challenge up. Oh, my goodness.
I'm not going to challenge you to anything.
But you have to give me a superior.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't come and challenge.
You have to let me know.
Please stop.
The man Pussy Kusase war, because of that, he's been unable to visit Boku for a long time. And this is an
a long time when?
You understand?
A long time when? You don't follow the
So the point is that
a long time.
Oh, me, I follow everybody.
Why do you follow? Who do you follow?
Okay.
I follow everyone.
I show you videos from Pussy Guy.
So it is your word
Stop
against
that.
I'm
talking about Boku.
Let's talk about
where is Pussy Guy? You don't even know where Pussy Guy is. Where is Pussy Guy?
Boku Central has
where
been
is Pussy Guy?
Has he been in Boku
Don't you go to Boku Central to Pussy Guy?
He has never been. Even Pussy Guy has not been there. Now I don't even trust
my brother, please, to just talk.
So he came to peddle an obvious untruth. That's the first point. Number two, I'm saying that if I were Yinam, I would be disappointed. Because the High Court actually tried the matter. They went into the matter and came to a determination that indeed Nyendam stole, rigged with the help of the Electoral Commission. The MPP went to the Supreme Court not to challenge the substantive matter. They say on a point of law, the NDC was bad at the time that they went to court. Not because the rigging didn't take place. So if you are in Parliament, to my mind, he is in Parliament by virtue of rigging the good people of Panda. That is why I was expecting a rerun, so that he goes back and establishes his authority. He establishes that indeed he won the election 2024. But with this, with the ruling in sight, how does he rejoice over such a victory? And I'm not going to take anything that he says in Parliament serious from today to go, if he goes back. Because then it means that the will of the people have been shortchanged. People of sound mind who woke up very early in the morning and queued and voted for a particular candidate to represent them have been shortchanged.
But yesterday, residents in his constituency were jubilating.
Some
of them, eh?
Some. Not the entire constituency. And I'm saying that the High Court decision still stands. That you cannot have a polling station with a total voter registration of 1,400. It does not happen anywhere in this country. The maximum number should be 750. Are you happy with that? And as a political party, the United Party, I'm concerned. Because if you are going to go into election 2028, and in Panda, you could have people rigged above the threshold, then how safe is our democracy? Now you come back to how the new Patriotic Party has deteriorated. That you remember only 2 days or so ago, how the minority ran down Justice Paul Bafuboni. They say Justice Paul Bafuboni together with the Supreme Court judges were serving their paymasters. They used that word. Afenyo used those words. Serving their paymasters. Now I want to ask this morning, with this ruling, which paymaster are they serving? Are they serving the paymasters in the MPP or from which political party? That's why sometimes it pays weight. That you don't just as a leader of a minority group in parliament come out and just be talking anyhow. Now that the ruling went in your favor, listen to the same person who said they are satisfying their paymasters. I found here the statement he issued, the opening paragraph. The minority in parliament warmly, they are so happy. Look at such a, I mean, I'm so ashamed that he's a minority leader.
Well, why do we sound like a person cannot change their mind?
You change when it favors you, but not on principle. That because of what they are doing.
If for the first time they feel that, well, the judicial acted accordingly.
No, so now, you know, this is not the first time they are praising. Now, when the Supreme Court actually injuncted the rerun, all of them came around and praised the Supreme Court. Now, what it is telling me is that the person that took the former Chief Justice Tokonu petition for her removal, we must go and give that person as told.
Who, Daniel Ofori?
Daniel Ofori. This one that doffed my heart out to him.
Yeah.
Because you see, this could never have happened under Tokonu.
That's true.
This could never. I mean, the Supreme Court was that predictable.
They wouldn't have heard the matter even.
You understand? Now we have people that boycotted Justice Paul Bafuboni's vetting, praising him. You ask yourself, who empaneled the judges?
But that's interesting because Kojo here, even before yesterday, was able to anticipate what could happen in
No, but the point is that
it was not the.
That is why I believe that the review is necessary, because the bone of contention is that there has been 2 Gazette notifications.
Okay.
Where did the MPP get?
There's only one.
No, you have not been following the case.
There's only one Gazette.
Oh,
there's only one.
Okay, guys.
Were you following the Jamal case?
I need to. Hamza, I'm coming, and I'll come back to you.
Yes.
Your time, but I need to release Mr. Rashid.
All right.
And Hamza, when I come to you, the question will be on how does the Supreme Court usually review their own decisions, on which kind of principles? I'll come to you. But Mr. Rashid, I want to hear about the Ayawaso East processes. Yesterday, the vetting happened. All 6 or all 5?
5.
5.
Yes.
Okay. All 5 went through?
Yes.
Okay. There have been concerns raised about our ambassador to Nigeria contesting.
Well, yes.
Did he go through the vetting?
He went through the vetting. Our guidelines, the guidelines we are using currently, doesn't debar him from contesting. I mean, a decision as to whether he stays or not doesn't rest with the party. The party cannot take such decision to stop an appointee of government from contesting. So based on that, he's qualified. It's left with the government to decide as to what to do. With him, for the party, we have no issues with that. Yesterday it went on beautifully. 5 of them, all of them appeared before the panel. I mean, after assessing them, we realized that the 5 of them were all qualified.
Okay.
And they balloted. Now we are out with the notice of pool is out in the constituency, indicating their positions and all that. So we are ready. I have to thank the people of Nima, Ayawaso East. So far, the way they've carried themselves, that tells you that the party to belong to is NDC. What's
the inconspicuous position of the NDC when it comes to widows, you know, contesting for seats that their late husbands were occupying?
The NDC as a party doesn't have any position in this. Our position is grounded in our party constitution and the regulation approved by a National Executive Committee.
Which will be?
And that is what we use. So we don't have issue of when it comes to widows or widowers and then religion, culture, ethnic. No, it's not part.
Once a person qualifies?
No, so long as you are a party member and you are qualified based on the Article 1 of the party constitution, we are good to go. For that one, there are other issues that might come in. For instance, when the widow applied for virtual vetting, and the party was very emphatic about that. We've never done. We only do it for people who are outside the country. and there are issues, there are reasons why they cannot make it. Sometimes they might miss their flight. They have some difficulty if there's a snow, like currently what is going on up there in the Western world, and the flights are cancelled, and you have to do a vetting. So definitely the person cannot come in.
What do you say to people who say that political parties use that means to cut sympathy during elections? Because the person has lost the husband, or if it was the other way around, the husband lost the wife, and so when they're contesting, you get some sympathetic vote.
The NDC has never thought of that. It has never been part of us. Even if you look at the previous one that we have, the current regional minister, when their husband died, she went through a contest with the others and won the primaries and went ahead to win. That has been our internal processes, and it's so beautiful. And I love the people of Ayawaso, Nima yesterday, the way they conducted. It was so beautiful yesterday. The 5 of them, they came in, the jovial mood, sat through the process, and everything went on beautifully. And I can assure you, 7 February will be the election. Next week, we'll be doing the primaries on 7 February. The location in Nima. That is where we are going to conduct the primaries. And whoever emerges as a winner is automatically going to be the MP for that constituency.
They'll have to contest the MP.
But what are they coming there to do?
Okay.
How can you use your 9,000 votes to battle some over 22,000 votes? You don't, I don't know why they are coming into that contest. They should have run away from that contest, like how they ran away from. But you see, because of leadership, they bashed them for running away from Tamale. They were attacking them left and right.
We didn't run from Tamale. Oh. We graciously gave Tamale because of the circumstances. See, appreciate good give. Appreciate what people do for you. You see, that is why politics is getting where it's going to. The MPP graciously did something for you. Appreciate it. Say we ran away. What is run away? Where did we run away? But you correct your brother.
That's the fact.
Was that we ran away?
Okay, good time.
I believe so, my brother. And I've made that point. I was holding you separately.
But anyway,
you know, I treat you different from the way I treat her.
No, you should. And let me say this.
Why is that?
He was my lecturer. When I was training to be a teacher.
So now I've miscalculated.
So
best of the same feather. Let me lump them together.
He taught me in training college.
Mr. Ashi?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
okay. Well then,
be gracious when we do things.
Solomon, have you landed? Because I want to go to Hamza.
No, so it's very clear.
Okay.
It's very clear that we are still on Panda. Or
I mean, your submission, I want to be sure if you've landed, if I can go to Hamza.
Well, you go to it because I don't know whether I should start all over. But the point still remains that this Supreme Court seems to be getting their house together. The reason why, I mean, for the review, which must be a must, is that there are as we speak, 2 Gazette notifications, all purportedly coming from the Electoral Commission. See, we have been complaining about this Electoral Commission and people don't understand that on oath, people swore on oath that indeed there was a Gazette notification on the 6th of January. Where did Ndam and his team get that Gazette notification? That question must be answered. Other than that, tomorrow there will be another election, and then by the time you realize something untoward happens, you say you are going to court. By the time you get to court, somebody will produce another Gazette. Oh no, time is not up. The Gazette was actually this day. Then you go and withdraw your case. The moment you withdraw it, then they submit or present the authentic Gazette notification, and then Supreme Court will come to this same determination. But this does not negate the fact that the election in Panda was rigged for Ndam. And it makes him a lame MP and makes him someone that I would never, in fact, I would question his presence in the House. Because we cannot have someone whose election has been determined that it was based on rigging to be making laws for me.
Okay. So, Hamza, let's take it from where Solomon has just ended. Okay. So yesterday, the decision was, or the crux of the decision will be jurisdiction, right?
We'll talk.
Beyond the review, legally, can the NDC now start the process all over again with the major issues at hand? You know, because the NDC says that they would want to review the decision. The decision of the Supreme Court, we all have not seen the full reasoning, but the little that we have seen is majorly on the jurisdiction that the High Court didn't have to sit on the matter at all, which annuls his decision entirely. Can the NDC start the process entirely, or it brings finality to this matter?
Oh, I think that if I listened to the NDC very well and that of a computer TR who just left, they have not said that they would want to review the decision, file a review application. They have said that they are waiting for the judgment. And based on the ruling, they will take a decision as to whether or not to seek a review of the judgment. And it is within the constitutional right of the National Democratic Congress to do so, based on the outcome of the ruling. If the law allows that, if you go through the ruling and you are convinced that indeed there is a miscarriage of justice, clearly, you would be within your constitutional rights as a political party and as a party in this suit to seek for that particular review. It is within law. And I think that it is grounded in Article 1331 of the 1992 Constitution. So if you're able to meet the conditions, which is mostly based on exceptional circumstances, and the exceptional circumstances, many of the factors the court is likely to consider would be maybe discovery of new and important evidence that in the initial application that was not brought to the attention of the court. And in making this, in reaching this conclusion that in the first place there's even new and additional information that was not available to them, they would look at the timing of that particular new evidence, and at the time you, the person filing the application, that information got to you. Or whether through reasonable diligence you could have had access to that information in the initial application stage before them, not the review application. And I also, if there's a fundamental error of law, I've made that point. If the NDC is convinced based on the judgment that there's a fundamental error of law, it is within their constitutional right to apply. And so, or maybe references is made to a breach of natural justice, the unruly horse mostly in the room. If the NDC is able to demonstrate that there was a breach of natural justice as far as this particular decision is concerned, I'm pretty much convinced that the Supreme Court is likely to entertain a review application. Okay. It is not really straightforward that you are entitled to review. There are certain strictures that you must ensure that it doesn't come against you.
I'm still conflicted in my learning this morning that because of the matter that went to the Supreme Court, if the NDC wants to consider a review, it will be purely on the decision based on the jurisdiction, or they'll be allowed to then go to other areas and other legs of the...
That is why I have given you the... You see, it will not just... Depending on what the judgment says.
Okay.
The jurisdiction matter is settled. But if NDC is able to adduce evidence that indeed even the jurisdiction matter was founded on fraud, for example,
okay,
it would be an important and interesting perspective to test in a review application and to demonstrate that indeed it was procured by fraud. But then again, that critical question the court will also consider is whether in the first place the NDC did not even have that knowledge in the initial application. And whether through reasonable diligence they couldn't have discovered that the gazetting was procured through fraud.
Okay.
And so it is quite technical. But for me, MFA, beyond the legalities, is a shift in our judicial culture that all of us must not gloss over. The sudden confidence that is coming back to Ghana's judicial architecture is commendable. And even the NPP must not lose sight of the fact. The case I made references to, if you remember, if there's a political party with the appetite for interference in judicial decisions since 1992, it is clear that is the NPP. And I'll demonstrate why.
Alleged.
And I'll demonstrate why.
A lawyer, alleged.
I'll demonstrate why.
You don't have the evidence to prove that.
MFA, when the Chachuchikata line of cases were run, we all remember what happened in this country. How he was when he decided to challenge the constitutionality of the Fast Track High Court. Even in that review application, President Kufuor had to appoint 2 new judges.
Afraid.
Pushed them to the Supreme Court and got them empaneled to overturn that decision. We all saw it. People raised issues about the timing of those appointments to the Supreme Court. and why they were sent there to do that specific duty, when there were other Supreme Court judges who were there before they were promoted. So it is the NPP under Nanado. Why are we pretending? Even the LGBTQ plus issues that we have before the court, for a common date for the court to sit was a problem. Is that not the case?
Yes.
So they should thank God. The MPP should be grateful for the reset agenda that they are benefiting from. Because this same Supreme Court could have also decided to frustrate their attempted challenge to the High Court decision by simply not even making the dates available to them. Even if it would have meant that the NDC wouldn't have gone to the polls, the seat would have been vacant for a while. Who loses? It would have been the NPP. You think that the NDC cannot play those games? But we demonstrated through our conduct that this is a party that is committed to the rule of law in this country. And that even if the rule of law is against the interests of the National Democratic Congress, we will do everything within our power to uphold the rule of law. Because we know that the stability of our democracy and the welfare of the good people of this country revolves on the acceptance of our judicial architecture and the conviction on the good people by the good people of this country that, look, when you walk to our courts, you get justice. Listen to Afenyo. And this is important. In the statement, that needless statement that he issued, when the Supreme Court...
Yesterday?
Yes, it was needless. It is not for the NPP to direct the Speaker of Parliament to annul the processes that led to the declaration of the seat vacant. Whether the Speaker likes it or not, whether Parliament likes it or not, the Supreme Court has spoken. And so the processes have already begun. So we don't need another statement from a clueless minority that ought to know the law, seeking to direct state institutions to carry out a lawful order of the Supreme Court when those orders are already in motion. That's one. Two, MFA, in that statement, I found an interesting heading. He said, a systemic correction of Ghana's democracy. And I'm going to read the first two lines. Afenyo says, this judgment is not only a personal vindication for the sitting MP and the people of Panda. It is a systemic correction that will resonate far beyond a single constituency. In line, even his statement acknowledges the reset agenda that this government promised and the research that we are dutifully seeing through. If the systems were not broken, why this statement? So even in that statement, he admits that in the last 8 years under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the NPP, what was happening in this country as far as our judicial architecture was concerned,
but the judiciary
was a sham.
The judiciary existed under this new regime even last year. You've lost sight that there's been a little over 1 year since the NDC.
But the confidence has come. That's why I'm saying that in the last 8 years of Kufuor and MPP. But today, that confidence is there. They have walked in there and they are getting justice. Another important feature of justice is even the conduct of judges. In the Supreme Court, those who were there would attest to the fact that there was no form of hostility towards either the lawyers of the NDC or that of the MPP, like we witnessed on live television in the past, when the removed Chief Justice demonstrated apparent hostility against lawyers who were championing interests that was at variance with government position. And the likes, we saw it, that kind of hostility. Lawyers and judges are supposed to be partners in our search for justice. And that respect must permeate when we are conducting cases. It was lacking under Justice Tokono. So this is a progress. This is an important progress that we should not take for granted.
Okay.
And so for me, MFA, let me learn. I'm not yet done with the statement.
You are not done with the statement. Okay,
you guys are
for a while.
Please
land, because I really want to go to on a few things.
Could you be patient? I can understand the discomfort.
Please, no, please land.
I'm very comfortable.
Why am I brother? Your political party.
Everybody is happy. We are moving on. This is just.
But you need to acknowledge that this is a party that respects the rule of law. MFA, I have given you instances under President Kufuor since '92, where we had interferences, apparent interference. I've given you instances under Nanado. Then again, even under Jerry Rawlings, as an NDC candidate and sitting president, the NDC went to court. You remember the NPP versus AG, 31st December case.
31st December.
These guys won cases against the National Democratic Congress founder as President Jerry Rawlings, a man they tagged as a celebrated dictator, and said they had no confidence in his ability to transition from a military ruler to a democratic ruler. But under him, the law courts were there for them. They won landmark cases that shaped the constitutional democracy of this country under Jerry Rawlings. It is because Jerry Rawlings himself understood the need not to interfere with our judicial architecture. So if you look at our history, the National Democratic Congress has always been committed to the development of our constitutional democracy, and most importantly, to respecting the sanctity of our judicial architecture without interfering in the judiciary. And that is something we cannot take away from the NDC. These guys know nothing except to poison, pollute, and undermine important state institutions that are instituted to protect this democracy and to ensure the welfare of the good people of this country. And Afenyo must be ashamed this morning if he is minded to read once again through the statement he issued. He would come to the realization that if there's any political party that deserves commendation and the president and government that must be commended on this issue, it is the National Democratic Congress and His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama and his government. We could have interfered.
It's a nice time to land.
But we didn't.
It's a nice time to land.
So this is a victory.
Could you?
Not just for the MPP, but it is a victory for when it comes to the promise that we're resetting Ghana. You disagree, my brother?
We have come
absolutely
to the realization that the NDC, when it goes on the soapbox, wants to make everything seem like the NDC suddenly. Things are new, never been done by them. But you see, I honestly want us to go on a tangent that doesn't conflict. You see, the judiciary, for me, there is a perceived political interference because nobody has evidence on that interference. Saying that two justices were promoted to add and there was a review and they voted, you don't have evidence that because of that reason they voted. There are justices of the Supreme Court who have knowledge. So for me, to demean them to the fact that, they were promoted to do that exercise is erroneous. Please, I don't think as a lawyer you should speak like that. But you see, the point I'm trying to make is this. We believe that the judiciary should be independent. We believe and trust that the judiciary should not be politically interfered with. But currently, have we forgotten the animal kingdom ruling that was done at the court, where the ruling of the judge talked about animal kingdom, that the rule of law doesn't apply to everybody? We've seen that last year.
Inherently, that was what
We've seen it last year.
The Bronya case?
Yes, we've seen it last year. The animal kingdom ruling.
Allow him to
let him land.
But
let him land. He allowed you to land. Make your point now.
The animal kingdom ruling is
I recall you spoke against that ruling, you, Hamza.
I did.
So what's
a judge?
Yes, but what are the others?
It was in perspective. What did I tell you? Yes. I told you that we had come into office as a new government. We had criticized the judiciary and the MPP for that kind of interference. And we said that these judgments that were coming were a consequence of the bad policies of the MPP.
Have they left?
But was it the NDC that appointed the judge?
No, have they left?
It was that same judge.
Stop that. But brother,
it was that same judge who imprisoned, who sentenced.
So you are trying
who sentenced an activist for insulting Nana.
So hold on. So are you saying that there's political interference of the judiciary as a lawyer? There is political
interference. You think that is going to take a year?
No. Are you saying
out questionable people from the system?
Political interference?
Now, no.
Has it ever been?
Yes.
Who by who?
Nana Dodanko Akufo and Kufuor.
You have proof? You have proof?
Yes.
How?
Yes. But I'm just giving you a
series stop of that, my brother.
I'm giving you an example.
You see, the point is that, hold on, the point is that, no, but it's rhetoric. The point is that when people go to court, we all want to speak that there is no political interference. Nobody has evidence to such, okay? So when people feel peeved, Honorable Afenyo Maken has a reason to hold a press conference to speak to certain things that he spoke to, and he still holds true to that.
What's the difference between what you don't like about the NDC saying that there is political interference? You'd rather they say it's perceived. What's the difference? I
am saying that if you cannot in one breath say there's political interference, but say that it's not happening under your time. Because political interference. The fact that me and you cannot sit here.
My question really is that they haven't been able to provide you hard evidence to say that there's political interference.
It's perceived throughout.
But the minority be able to provide evidence that the judiciary is serving their paymasters.
Well, you have to talk to Afenyo on that. All I'm saying is that but am I Afenyo Market?
You are distancing yourself.
No, but I'm not Afenyo Market. I'm not Afenyo Market.
The new Patriotic Party.
No. Hold on.
He has the right to decide.
You agree or disagree with
my brother? I can disagree with Afenyo Market.
But he spoke on behalf of the new Patriotic Party.
Hold on, my brother.
He disagrees with Afenyo.
I can disagree with Afenyo.
So you disagree?
You disagree with him?
So we disagree with you.
It's not the same thing. It's not the same.
What are you talking about?
Don't ask the question.
No. Hold on, please.
Okay.
Solomon.
I want to listen to the reason.
I, Kujupuku.
Yes.
Have my own set of reasoning and beliefs.
Yes.
I can disagree when I want to disagree.
Absolutely.
I have when the MPP was in government.
Yes.
I disagreed with government.
Which of the policies did you disagree?
If you don't know that this is not a tax.
Just remind me one. I'm
not going to stand here and discuss this with you. If you don't know my history, go.
I know your history, but I want to.
Then if you don't know why you're asking this, please.
Okay.
That question you have to ask Afenyo. But the point I'm trying to make is that there should be a reason, right, where we now make it look like the judiciary is independent and works. If you now say that there is heavily political interference in Nana and Akufo and make it look at under your tenure, we can spend the whole day cataloging all the interferences or rulings that people are not happy with. Hold on. We can catalog all rulings that people are not happy with and attribute it to political interference, be it perceived or not. If you understand what I'm saying.
I'm with you. How then do I, and back to the statement.
By
the minority.
Okay.
How do I interpret what you're saying, and just posing it by the part that Hamza read, says that it is a systematic correction that will resonate far beyond a single constituency. What interpretation should I put to this?
Read the whole thing, because
First, that this judgment is not only a personal vindication for the sitting MP and the people of Panda, it is a systemic correction that will resonate far beyond a single constituency. It sends a powerful signal to all trial courts that in election matters, strict compliance with jurisdictional threshold, timelines, and a limited range of remedies set by statute is not.
He was talking about the Tamale High Court. The Tamale High Court did a lot. No. The Tamale High Court. The Tamale High Court.
He was talking about
the. No, he's not. No, the judge. He said the Tamale High Court did. We all agree that the Tamale High Court did a lot of things. The judge in Tamale did things that nobody was happy with. Right? His ruling, he came out and gave a ruling without his written statement. The written statement
was your
oh, my brother.
But the point is that
you are trying to say that in conflict or not conflict. What Afenyo hold on. What Afenyo is saying is in direct rebuke of the Tamale High Court.
No.
Yes.
No.
I can't help but quite agree, because it says that the judgment, which I think is the Supreme Court judgment, is not only a personal vindication for the sitting MP.
Yes, but
and it says that it is a systemic correction that will resonate far and beyond a single constituency.
Thank you. Which constituency? Which constituency?
It is beyond a single constituency.
Then go on with the statement.
Now it sends a powerful signal to all trial
judges, all trial courts. Yes. So he's hold on. He is referring. Afenyo is referring to the Tamale High Court.
It is very benchmarked on the judgment.
On the Tamale High Court.
And the Supreme Court's judgment is
directly at Tamale High Court.
No, listen.
No, what are you talking about?
Judgment that. Why did they release the statement?
Because it is to squash. We went to court. Listen, we went. The Supreme Court. No. The Supreme Court. We went to court to say that the Tamale High Court did not have a jurisdiction to sit on the case. Afenyo had now issued a statement. What Afenyo is rebuking, and I could have sat on this platform and also rebuked the.
But you said you disagree with Afenyo. So
no. I never said disagree with him. I said I can't disagree with him. But when he asked, hold on, please. I'm here. Don't put words in my mouth. No. What I said, please, don't put. What I said, he asked a question.
He would rather not answer that.
Thank you.
No,
he asked, hold on.
Says that he can disagree.
But I said he disagrees with you, and I even said that.
Bro.
You are distancing yourself from the MPP.
No. I never said that. I never said that.
Let's play it back. We are all listening. Let's play it back.
You can throw your hands in the air all you want.
I want him to play.
Bro. Please, Solomon, relax.
I'm relaxed.
I said two things. I can disagree with Afenyo.
No problem.
What he asked, she asked me a question.
Yes.
And I said that question she has to ask Afenyo. It doesn't mean I disagree with Afenyo. All I'm saying is that I cannot answer for Afenyo.
You went further to say that you disagree with Afenyo?
No, I said I can disagree with Afenyo if I want to. If I have a principal position, I'll disagree with him. And I told you I have disagreed when the MPP was in government. Oh, please.
I'll try and pull back that, please.
My sister, let's move. Let's make progress.
I want to find out. Waking up this morning, how do you feel about the judiciary, Kujo?
I have always felt the same way I have felt, which is that I think that a lot of the things we talk about is perceived. Because nobody has evidence to it. What happens, we can deal with a case by case. The way the Tamale High Court, let's use that as an example, the way the judge went about it, right? The way he's ruling, one, there was only a certain amount of constituencies or a certain amount of polling stations that was brought to court. The challenge by the NDC was on a set of polling stations. Your jurisdiction on the ruling is on that set of polling stations that was presented. He goes further to annul the entire constituency. We had a problem with that. Secondly, when he ruled...
That decision was not supported by
law. Oh, bro. We say we had a problem with it. We are two different things. What I'm saying to you is that going forward, when he came and gave the judgment, he didn't have his written statements. The judge, you remember how they quickly transmitted it to Parliament, and Parliament tried to not get them to sit and all that. And even at that, he did not release his statement until later, right? Because it is only based on that statement that you can take to appeal. So he was delaying certain things that basically make sure that the processes which is in parallel in Parliament is what is somewhere obscured. But the point that we all feel is that Tamale Court, the judge did certain things that the MPP as a party, we are not happy with. That said, anything else, like my brother is trying to say that I am a very well-principled person that I can disagree with anybody if I want. If you don't, I don't just agree because, you understand? So let's put that to rest.
Okay. Well, we moved to Ayawaso East. You've all had your bite on Panda.
Yes, no, but it's important for us to put the issues in perspective.
Which other issues are these?
One, my brother Kujo needs to appreciate that when it comes to the High Court decision in Tamale, what was before the judge was what the judge dealt with. Mm-hmm. And so if you raise a jurisdictional issue in a different or at a different forum, and they also deal with it, it does not mean that the High Court judge or the previous judge who dealt with the substantive matter did not do so in accordance with law in terms of the issues he had before him. Now, what the Supreme Court is simply saying is that we are not questioning the legality of your findings in terms of the facts and conclusions drawn as to whether there was overvoting here or undervoting here. What we are questioning is the fact that in the first place, you had no jurisdiction at all to entertain the matter.
Okay.
These are two different things. You had no jurisdiction at all. So we are not even going to go into the matter as to whether indeed there was overvoting here or overvoting there. The Supreme Court hasn't gotten there. They are saying that per the law, you were supposed to entertain it within a certain period of time. The suit was filed outside that window. And so, jurisdiction-wise, you had none. That is it.
This has been my question.
So how would you chastise the judge? How would you insult the judge for doing something extraordinary when these issues were not before him?
Okay.
Then again...
Still on Pandai?
No, I'll go to, if you don't want me to.
I want to go to Solomon.
Okay.
Start with Solomon on Ayawaso East, please.
Oh, but... Okay,
I want to.
Okay,
I want to.
I'll
Solomon. So yesterday, when I engaged my panelists here, a few of them were quite concerned that for a person who holds government position or government appointment, for example, Baba Jamal, not just for example, that's him, who is Ghana's High Commissioner to Nigeria, decides to want to contest a parliamentary seat. They asked the question, the CPP asked the question, what has he seen? What is in there? Why would he want to, why does he want to not be called His Excellency, rather be an honorable?
It's a question that can best be answered by Baba Jamal, because honestly, when I saw him in the race, I was taken aback.
What took you aback? Despite you think he should be the one answering the question, what took you aback?
Because I mean, you are Ghana's ambassador to Nigeria, a position that I'm sure was lobbied by a lot of people. Then the president settled on you. I'm sure by now you would have started engagement with interested groups, government officials in Nigeria. You want to leave that position and come back, then the president will select another body to go and start all over again. What sort of life is this? I don't understand it. No, me, if I were the head, I would vote against Baba Jamal. I'm telling you. We must be content with wherever we find ourselves. You lobbied for it. Not that you were sitting somewhere and the president called you and said, Baba, go and represent me in Nigeria. Is this the case?
Not everybody gets
a they lobbied. Master, if you go, I don't envy any president at all. When you go to their house, people go and kneel, beg, scream. They go with their malams, their families, their pastors, everybody.
Baba Jamal did that.
They lobbied.
Why are you
generalizing? When I ask you a simple question, Bobby, run away. You say I shouldn't say that. I am saying.
Do you know if Baba Jamal did that? Don't impugn people's...
And you know that the Baba Jamal did not do that. Yes, but do you know whether he did that or not?
I would rather you stay away from that.
Wait a
what is this?
Wait a minute, but it's possible.
Following the vice president to do your politics. What is this?
Think about it this way, Solomon. Is it possible?
So now you want to think
you must have... No, I'm asking. I said think about it this way.
What is
Solomon, but I'm asking you the question, so listen to me.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm saying that...
Yes.
Is it possible that a person will lobby for position A?
Yes.
And then the president or whoever they appointer will say that, I see that you're lobbying for this.
Yes.
But I'd rather you do this in the interest of the research agenda.
The point that I'm making is that he already has a portfolio.
Okay.
He's serving Ghana in a different capacity. He has started. This is a new government that is in motion. That you are representing the people of this country. In Nigeria, you might have started certain meetings, started certain discussions, negotiations.
But even a whole government is changed. That's why there's transition period.
No.
The whole government can be voted out.
That's a totally different matter altogether. It's within the same administration. You understand? The president sees you as being fit after lobbying here and there.
Is that not easy? If you're in the same administration, you go there, you have started projects, you have started meetings and all of that, and another person from that same party goes to continue. For continuity, what's
what continuity? He just moved in not more than a year.
Which is even better. It means he hasn't done anything substantive, so he can change.
So a new person must go, settle there, begin all negotiations. I'm
just drawing your attention to possible options.
No, what I'm saying is
nothing much has happened.
What I'm saying is that this is a by-election. It's an unfortunate situation. When we started the year, nobody knew what's the name. The MP will leave us. He has left. You also have your portfolio. within the constituency. I mean, it enriches. Can you imagine if Baba Jamal is coming from Ayawaso East, serving in Nigeria, then there is also another person coming from the same constituency who is in parliament. Is it not going to help in the developmental agenda of people of Ayawaso East?
How do you feel about him knowing that it looks like he's always wanted to be a member of parliament?
He has been a member of parliament before.
Beyond that, he's been an MP before.
Even questions there. I mean,
but he tried to want to be MP here as well.
The point is that I believe he must serve.
That's what a person desires.
He must serve in the capacity that he finds himself. Nigeria is a big portfolio. Hey, ambassador to Ghana's ambassador to Nigeria, the most populous nation in West Africa.
As well, but you see, that's the thing. What excites you or tickles you maybe does not what tickles him.
But I'm not saying about
he wants to serve. I wants to serve differently.
As a Ghanaian taxpayer, here I'm not talking about. I'm not an NDC member. But if I had any opportunity, even my vote was in Ayawaso East, I'll vote against him. You understand? He must remain in Nigeria and serve our interests.
No, maybe
unless he's telling me this morning that he is not on top of issues in Nigeria. That one is a totally different matter altogether. That, hey, Mr. President, you sent me to Nigeria. I am incapable of representing the people of Ghana in Nigeria to address some of the challenges or get the most out of the situation. So bring me back and let me go and do parliamentary business. As we speak, he's yet to tell all of us that position. So on what basis would we then, would I be comfortable in him leaving the very portfolio he has to come and contest as a member of parliament? I believe that it does not sit well with me. The same situation with the widow as well.
Okay.
You know, and that was a very bad politics introduced into our body politic by the new Patriotic Party. So symbolic. You know, it started way back in the year 2000. People forget. Where Collins Dowda is. What's the name of the constituency? Is it a Sutifi South?
Is it north or south?
North or south?
North, it's north.
Yes. You know, some few days into election 2000, then the then candidate of the new Patriotic Party, Dr. Mwako, had come from South Africa and also died in the process. Speedily, then they went and brought the wife. That was the beginning of widows replacing husbands. And then it continued. It went to Infansiman East or so, came to Ayawaso West. What sort of impression are you creating in the minds of... so now if I'm a husband, I'm even afraid to go and contest for any election. If I win and I have a wife, I will be looking 2-2-3-3. The faces of my wife.
You have 2 eyes. Why are you looking 3-3?
Hey. The moment I leave...
Why? Because what? Why? Because the moment you leave...
The moment I am gone, my wife takes over.
But if, for example, if your wife is supposed to take over your estate, you don't think that it would be fair enough to also take over your ideas and policies?
It is not estate we are talking about. The estate is there.
Yesterday, the CP as well advanced a very potent argument. They say that a lot of these things that we do or people do, they do with their wives or men. For example, you're granting an interview at home, she hears you. Your idea for your constituency, she hears you. There's so many things that you'll be sharing the ideas with your wife. In fact, your last wishes for your constituency, she probably will be the one who knows.
So MPs are regulated by 2 documents. The constitution of this country and their standing orders.
Okay.
If it goes to the party too, the MP is regulated by the party. It's not regulated by the ideas of the wife. You understand? What I believe has to happen is that we, as political parties, we must begin to do things differently. It's not creating or sending the right signals.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Because if when it goes into that realm, people do all sort of interpretations.
Okay. Kojo, let me
I don't even know where Solomon is coming from.
I'm coming from Ghana. Am I coming from Togo?
Anytime there has been a death, then wives have taken over.
No.
Wives are normally part of politics also.
Yeah.
I don't see how anybody whose wife is non-political, how many of it has it even occurred? I think I can cite 2.
She's not a member of the United Party.
I think
she's a member of the United Party, but she's not.
I think the 2 I can cite off is the Mankesim one.
Who was a police
the
Mankesim one. Yeah,
Infansimai
was a police officer.
Infansimai one,
yes.
right? I can cite that one, and I can cite Mama Lydia Ayawaso.
And I cited a certificate.
And I don't even know. So it's not since '92. In this
how many of them have died?
We've only done 2 or 3 where wives who are which are political have come into. Please. Please.
When I was speaking, didn't you
stop the generalization, my brother?
What is generalization?
You say they are not political, but you don't know. I'm telling you for a fact that Mama Lydia, who became the successor to Abuache Jako in Ayawaso, was very political in the constituency. So they don't just come. It's not because your wife is looking at you to what does your wife care about your politics?
We have
most wives.
I'll try and get my producer to pull out.
Most wives don't even want to.
We've done a report on the number of wives who have had to contest.
It's not a lot, and most wives. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. Most wives don't want to get involved in this thing that we do. You understand?
When a wife shows interest,
because they've always been political. Yes, very political.
Okay.
It's not women who are not political don't really, they despise what their husbands do. Because one, it takes us away from the house. I've been away for 2 weeks. I just got back. You understand? And you think, and then when I go back, just as I'm entering the house, I get a call. You have to be up to enjoy in the morning. You understand? And then you are out of the house again. They will see you again to evening. So even in the household itself, I mean, everybody who's married,
does this trigger? Do you think this will trigger a woman? And God forbid that if you were not around, the woman will say that my husband has gone through all of this. And
no, but most that's what I'm saying. No, but they are political people. You see, people don't just marry and then in school. There are people who take part in society, people who take part in other things. People don't just one day wake up and want to be political. Political beings are born.
Not true.
Oh, my brother. Look, let me make my statement.
Okay.
I don't know if
and please
I don't know if he
Solomon, he was very quiet.
Yeah,
when I was engaging with
he engaged me.
You and I had a full conversation.
No. When he interfered, you know, he intervened at the point that
yes. Then you have taken your pound of flesh.
I only said that
so now you agree.
Generalized and impugn people's
you have your pound.
He shouldn't impugn and people's integrity.
You have impugned.
Baba Jamal has a right to contest. In the past, there were civil servants that had gone to court because then we didn't allow civil servants to take part. So if you're a sitting civil servant and there is a seat you want to contest, you have to resign or something like that. I think there was a case with regards to, I don't know if Potofi went to court. I was trying to look for it. Nadmo boss at the time, Kofi Potofi. I think he won, I'm not too sure, but there was a case that went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled that yes, you can be a sitting appointee and still take part in party politics. So look, Baba Jamal is fit. I don't get where my brother is coming from.
But who said he's not fit?
Oh my God.
No, but you cannot be putting words in your mouth.
Please let my brother...
No, but you said a while ago that we shouldn't be putting words in your mouth.
I'm tired.
I am sitting right by you. Say Baba Jamal is not fit. I have a problem with the fact that he is Ghana's ambassador to Nigeria, a portfolio that is worth it. He must concentrate there.
That's your opinion.
But whose opinion?
It's not about fitness or not. Let me hear you.
I think that, first of all, it is important to understand that this is a very dicey issue, because it is not just a by-election. We are also talking about the rights of individual members of society. And we do so in conjunction with the 1992 Constitution that gives every Ghanaian of sound mind and of the appropriate age to either contest for elections or be able to vote in an election. Now, when you look at the Ayawaso East issue, the first inclination is that it is within the democratic right of the woman, the widower in this case, and that of Baba Jamal to elect to contest that parliamentary seat. Nobody can take it away from them. It is their democratic right to do so. But the question that needs to be answered is that beyond this democratic right, because even the Constitution puts fetters when it comes to enjoyment of certain rights. So beyond this constitutional right, as a society, is this in the best interest of our democracy? These are questions we have to ask ourselves in terms of democratic principles. And that is where I think that the problem is. You may have the democratic right to contest, and we may defend that democratic right to contest. But the critical question we should be asking is that, is it in the best interest of our democracy? Many of these calls are not hinged on the fact that spouses or like widows would be able to contest or do the job. But it is simply mostly driven by the fact that the deceased MP did so well, and he has a family to take care of, so let the wife enjoy from it. It's like an inheritance. Yeah. Not because of the capability and its positive contribution to our democratic governance. And that is where I want us to focus on. Whether many of these calls are engineered because we are just looking for a livelihood avenue for the widow and her children, or it is actually grounded in a sincere attempt to contribute meaningfully to democracy, you would agree with me.
How would we know?
That mostly, that's why I'm saying that we need to know. It is left unto us to know. That's one aspect of it. If truly this is driven by a passion to serve, the woman has been politically active and has always been interested and can do the job, I have no problem with it. Secondly, there's also, you see, politics-trained families. From my experience, I can tell you sometimes it is deliberate provocation. So that people get to know what is happening beyond the facade of politics and to be able to understand what happens in your homes. And we saw that when some people were calling for the brother to contest and the spouse to contest. I have always believed that when it comes...
The brother of the late MP.
Yes. I have always believed that even though the Constitution allows them, when it comes to such replacements, it will just be proper for families of the deceased, especially immediate families, wives and brothers or siblings, to move away from that seat and allow others to contest. It is not a family property.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you may have certain rights, but like, I don't see how I can bring myself to doing that. God forbid. You understand the point I'm making? Because you see, but this is critical. That's why I'm telling you that it is a test of a family bond and unity. It is not just about livelihoods. It's also a test on your culture and integrity. So it would have been nice to have a situation where the widow and that of the sibling of the stayed far from the politics of the parliamentary seat. Because it is not a family property in the first place, despite the fact that it is within their constitutional right to contest. I respect that. But there are certain things you must fetter yourself. And that's what I mean by politics-trained families. You can begin to understand the relationship between the husband and the wife now and the siblings and the family of that side. Needless.
Okay.
Again, in the case of the party's failure to vet, in principle, I have a problem with the position the National Democratic Congress took on the refusal to vet her virtually. You see, our constitution, not long ago, we were talking about constitutional rights. Even within our political parties, we must make it practicable for all manner of persons to be able to participate in our democracy. There are certain religious rights that the woman is expected to do as a Muslim. Like good governance in a political party requires that in respect or in adherence to those particular cultural requirements, nothing bars the National Democratic Congress from proceeding to accept to vet her virtually. And I disagree in principle when the party decided that that measure is only available to those who are outside the country and due to certain exceptional circumstances, they are unable to come for vetting. That is a cultural requirement. That is a religious requirement.
They didn't want to make exceptions. Maybe they feel it will be discriminatory.
It is not, because it is an exception based on the basis of religion and cultural requirements. Our laws allow that. So the National Democratic Congress as a party, I think that on this particular issue, we ought to have done better. In line with our commitment to ensuring effective representation for all manner of persons. And it is something that I am calling on my own party to take a look at. It is critical. I found it terribly disturbing that window of opportunity was not availed to her. It should be. Again, Baba Jamal, and that is where I partially agree with my brother, Kojo Poko. My experience with politics is that you cannot sit somewhere Solo, and reach a conclusion on somebody's desires. I have come across it, again in the Baba Jamal issue. I've heard people say, oh, but you are already chopping, you have an appointment. Human beings, oh, so why do you want to come and take it? You stay there and get another, let another person take that particular opportunity to also take care of the family. And that is, I'm coming, that is the orientation. That is troubling. Because the basis of our democracy is rooted on self-benefit. And immediately you start championing those arguments, you are reinforcing the perception that people get in there to look. Many people are out there looking for power, not because of what they will eat or their families will eat tomorrow. MFA, you think that Baba Jamal's decision to contest for parliamentary seat would be because of what he or his family would eat? That the ambassadorship would not have given? Sometimes, if you are familiar with what we call the Maslow's theory of needs, is it the hierarchy of needs?
Hierarchy of needs.
Self-actualization is key.
No, but I disagree.
And the person's personal preference and the kind of legacy he wants to. So we should stop. MFA, we should, MFA, we should stop. MFA, we should stop. I'll come to your point. I'm coming. That's why I said partially. MFA, we should stop judging or pretending to know the desires of people using materialism.
In fact, Hamza, give me a minute. I want to bring back what Baba Jamal himself said. Let's take a listen to him when he filed the nomination.
Today, and then I will tell you. Today, I have officially presented my documents to the regional office. The region has gone through, they have accepted my documentation, everything is complete, and has handed over my copy to me. I've also been informed that tomorrow there will be a vetting for all those candidates that will be presenting their documents. I want to thank all of you, the press, for following up with this. Those who think and continue to ask why Baba Jamal is coming back and leaving Nigeria as a high commissioner and coming down to take the title of honorable, let me make it clear that my motivation is not materialistic. My motivation is humanism and service to people. I am motivated to come down and serve my people. Even though I am serving the nation out there, I can assure you that there is a greater tax on me to come and serve my people. I believe my presence here will be more useful to my people and also to the nation even than my service at Nigeria. Not because I don't regard what is in Nigeria. I hold that position in high esteem. But when duty calls, where you are needed more, you need to respond to it. So I'm responding to the several calls by my people to come down and serve them. Inshallah.
Right. What's the meaning of inshallah?
Oh, inshallah, by the grace of God.
Okay. My takeaway from what he says is that he believes his presence will be more useful. Yeah.
You see, and that was the point I'm making. I had not even listened to this interview. And I was making the point on the issue of materialism and the need for us to be careful. And that's why I said I partially agree with Kojo on that issue. But you see, MFA, there's a flip side, which is also very critical. I also agree, partly with my brother Solo, when he makes the point that the appointment as ambassador provided an opportunity for Baba Jamal to demonstrate his impact beyond even Ayawaso East. If it is not materialism, which I totally think that it is not, because there's no guarantee that he'll be made a minister. And you see, even his position now as an ambassador, he is better off than some ministers of state. I can tell you that on a matter of fact. How much more MPs who are roaming in parliament today without any title beyond the honorable MP, and their parties are in power. So if it is about materialism, he knows that the ambassadorial position is far, far better. But then it raises another fundamental issue about our orientation of what it means to serve. Because what is a higher calling than a call by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana to serve your country in another country in his stead and be his shadow, his representative in another country? What is a higher calling than that? Can you compare that?
To yourself, actually, you're comparing that with a person's self-actualization needs.
Yes, I'm just calling. You see, because you see, sometimes your state requires you to make sacrifices. And if you cannot make sacrifices for your state, people would be legitimate to begin to question whether indeed you can actually even make sacrifices for a constituency. Because that service as ambassador is to render service on behalf of the country, not on behalf of a select few. Unless, of course, like Solo said, my big brother, Baba Jamal, is of the opinion that the shoes over there are quite bigger than him, and he's not competent to do the job that His Excellency President Mahama has assigned for him to do, and that he thinks that Ayawaso East is manageable, is a smaller constituency, and President Mahama needs to get a better hand to handle that. That point needs to be communicated to President Mahama. But in all the discussion I have made, there is the need, MFA, for us to appreciate that our politics must not always be rooted in the perception of materialism.
That one I agree with you. It shouldn't.
Period. It shouldn't.
But let me add that I want to find out.
Me seated here, MFA.
Yes.
Thankfully, what I'm going to eat the next day will not be my problem. What my family will eat, thankfully, will not be my problem. So if you see me in politics, and you think that my measure is money and materialism, you'll be wrong.
But the question that I want to ask Baba Jamal this morning is that, should he lose this primaries, would he go back to Nigeria? I want to find out.
Maybe it's a question we should ask his appointer.
I'm not sure His Excellency President Mahama will entertain,
because it's a serious matter,
disdain on his appointing authority.
If he loses and still wants to go back,
can we entertain the disdain the BOG is saying on our gold? I mean, I think that's.
We'll definitely go to this one. So
how BOG
just a
chopping a good year that we left.
Just a reminder. I don't know about the chopping, but I know that BOG has dropped policy rates to 15.5%. We'll bring that up, but I just want to remind people of. I mean, since Ghana's fourth republic, since 1993, the number of cases that we have recorded, widows having to want to go and contest the seat, just a wrap of it. Many know that it's just a handful we know, but not a lot of people know the real story.
I even left out one, the current Greater Accra Regional Minister.
Well,
he took over from the husband.
That report is right here.
Yeah.
Parliamentary seat is taking shape with Hajia Amina Adams' announcement drawing mixed reactions. Critics say the timing comes too soon after her widow of the late Ayawaso East MP, Mahama Toure, Hajia Amina Adams, officially filed her nomination to contest the NDC by-election on January 27, following what she described as a passionate appeal from constituents urging her to take over the helm of constituency affairs. The party opened nominations on Saturday, January 24, to select a candidate for the parliamentary by-election. Spokesperson for Hajia Amina Adams, Bashiru said, speaking after filing the forms, charged party supporters to avoid actions that could create confusion ahead of the primaries.
We are totally overwhelmed with the massive support from the delegates, the branch executive. I never expected this from them. And I'm telling them this on authority that inshallah, the victory is assured. Hajia is winning.
Well, I apologize. I wanted to show you that video, but I didn't bring you the ideal one. When I have the time, I will bring you that. But let's talk about the BOG dropping policy rates to 15.5%. So the Bank of Ghana has moved to further ease borrowing conditions by cutting its policy rate, the benchmark at which it lends to universal banks. The central bank lowered the rate from 18% in November 2025 to 15.5%, marking the fourth consecutive reduction since May 2025. It also brings to our attention that the latest decision continues a downward trend from a peak of 28% earlier in 2025, reflecting a gradual shift towards monetary easing. Kujo, you've been very itching to want to talk about this.
Talking about the gold that the government, you're good here now buying it on, and
okay, it's not the policy rate.
The policy rate is one thing, but we'll discuss that's what we'll make it to. One of the most important things is that policy rates, when it's reduced, is good for the industries because that determines at what rate me and you can borrow from the bank. It determines what the companies can get their loans, and if you are, well, the middle class that want to get on the mortgage ladder, it determines a lot of things in our industry. So it's good when the policy rate comes down. The other thing that is creating a problem is the domestic borrowing by the government. Because the government now is basically buying a lot from the domestic market, issuing the T-bills and stuff like that, it is really crowding out the private sector in the domestic borrowing. We want a situation whereby the government is borrowing less and the banks will have money to basically give it to the private sector. We have a budget of, in 2026 budget, government wants to borrow 71 billion Ghana cedis from the domestic market. So they are trying to siphon quite a number of money. But what has come to our notice, which is very disturbing, is the Bank of Ghana's decision to sell 12 tons of the 30 point something tons of gold that was sitting in the Bank of Ghana. Now, they can write all the lovely stories and write all their beautiful English to mask what they are doing. The Bank of Ghana, in a way, right, when in the past the NDC has bastardized the Akufo-Addo government and said that Bank of Ghana was financing the government and that should stop. Governor Esiama is doing the very thing that the NDC basically asked the Bank of Ghana to stop, financing government. You have certain activities that is causing the bank to lose money, right? I have openly said that in 2024, when the domestic gold purchase program was recorded losses, in 2025, when the new government took over, they should have looked at the inherent problems, which was creating the losses. They played politics with all the gold purchase programs, which is gold for oil, gold for reserves, and made it look like it's a scam, it's bad, only for us to now realize today that in their 1 year, there has also been losses which they didn't address, which they had opportunity to. But now what they've done, because Bank of Ghana is making losses, the gold that they have as reserves, they've sold it to basically claw the profits into their operations. Bear in mind, the gold was bought.
They've sold the gold that the Bank of Ghana has sold the gold reserves,
yes. Because basically, it was bought around 2,000 cedis. Sorry, $2,000 per, around $2,000 per ounce.
Per ounce?
Per ounce, yes. Now, gold is around over $5,000 per ounce. So they're basically making more than 50% profit on the actual sale of it. So they sold it, plus the other liquidation that they've mopped from the market to buy gold and kept it at reserves. My question to the Bank of Ghana is this. Today, everybody knows that gold holds more value than the dollar, right? In the short to medium term, the gold is a safer bet. Why are you now liquidating? Because if you read what they put in the BFT, they said that the central bank said this is a deliberate rebalancing rather than recent from gold, arguing that the reserve, no, was that
Okay, he's saying that has reduced the share of gold in the reserve by 51%. The proceeds into foreign currency assets, betting on yield and liquidity, even as bullion prices hit record high. So we have gold, which store better value than the dollar, which is losing value. You sold the gold, which has a better yielding value, and go and basically now store the assets in the currency value. Why? If you are really storing value, the reason is simple. They basically want to be pumping and pumping and pumping to keep the dollar to the cedi artificially at that 10.8, that everybody is telling them that stop it. Because by so doing, you are basically collapsing the cocoa industry. 2, you are shooting yourself in the foot. Because at 10.8, your oil imports, you are shortchanging yourself. Your port receivables, you are shortchanging yourselves. The only thing you are gaining from, right, is that you said that, oh, your interest on loans are lower.
But are they not reinvesting the proceeds they made? Because you mentioned that now the cost is higher, the cost of gold is higher. So when they sell it, they're reinvesting the proceeds. Is that not what they're doing?
They're pumping it into the system, and that is what they claim is making the US dollar to the cedi, the cedi gain strength.
What's wrong with that?
It's everything wrong with that, because the cedi is strong, but nothing is beneficial in this country. I was in Kumasi. And funny enough, these 2 weeks I've been in Kumasi, I've done a lot of walking around. From Pragya to taxi to everybody, they are all charging more. Why? If petrol is low, as we can all see petrol is low, right? And as a result of the dollar being down, the petrol is low, the world market fuel is low, right? Look at what's happening. Everybody, transport fares are high, Pragya is high, everything is high. Why? They will talk about spare parts. How can spare parts be high? The dollar is low. So how can spare parts be high?
Is it the fault of government?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So let's have an equilibrium. You see, the Emma Kamfo is not helping.
Who's that?
Emma Kamfo. One people are just basically giving you unnecessary praise, right? Emma Kamfo. It's not necessary, because in the end, the economy is suffering. The economy is suffering. My brother, go to the Ministry of Finance and talk to your finance minister. We live in this country. The economy is suffering. Things are beginning to happen. It has not come to the surface yet. But some of us who study some of these things are telling that the economy is suffering because oil is at all-time low. Oil is at now 60. Because oil is at 60, your receivables that you benchmark for your big push, you are not getting as much receivables for it. And you are multiplying that by a much lower figure. So your receivables into your port, your revenue. If you go and look at the port, you've also gone ahead and reduced taxes that you would have otherwise needed. In 2025, you collected less revenue than you collected in 2024. Meanwhile, your expenditure is much higher than 2024.
I would have thought this government has cut down on expenditure. But anyway,
they haven't cut down on expenditure. But see the budget. In 2024, right? 279 was an overrun. The Nanado government overspent to 279 billion Ghana cedis. That they claim was an overrun. This year, the government wants to spend 357 billion. How is that the expenditure lower?
This year or last year?
This year.
Last year, how much did the government spend?
The government expenditure as at last year, we are basically not seeing the media budget. The media budget will tell us. We don't have the media budget yet.
No, but you just said...
No, and 2024...
We outrun our expenditure than 2024.
No, what I'm saying, no, you're projected. He's saying that he thought this government will have spent less. And I'm saying that...
Because you made a categorical statement that we spent more than we spent in 2024.
Yeah, you spent...
And I'll challenge
you... that you... Hold on, please.
2025, what was the expenditure?
Please. I'm saying that the 2025 media has not come. What I'm saying
so
is that hold on. Your 2025, when you came in, you said that the Nanado government spent 279 billion and that one was an overrun, right? So you are saying that that was too much, it's an over expenditure. But your projected expenditure,
economy,
my brother, your projected expenditure for 2026 is 357 billion.
So not 2025.
Oh, my brother.
That's projected because they haven't spent.
Yeah, so but we don't have 20. I'm using 2024 figures, and you're projected now because without the media, we would not know what your 2025 actuals are.
So you shouldn't have said.
No, but that's what I'm telling you. But that's what it is.
You have corrected yourself.
But you would have spent more. Hold on. In 2025, you spent more than 2024. It's natural. You would have spent.
Where's the evidence?
In 2025,
Where's your evidence? Where's the source of that conclusion?
By the time 256, we would have your expenditure by third quarter was 256 billion. Your expenditure by third quarter was 256 billion. What are you talking about?
MFA,
okay.
Can I come in?
Okay.
I think it is important that I come in from this stage. You see, sometimes it is difficult trying to appreciate the politics of the NPP, not because it is sophisticated, but most of the time, it is politics run on convenience. And I'm going to start from where he just ended. Not long ago, is it not the same minority, an MPP, who were chastising this government for not spending, not making payments? When we were touting our economic recovery journey, if I remember, they held press conference upon press conference and said that the indicators were looking that good because our capable finance minister and capable president, they were not doing what they needed to do. They were not spending. And so they should spend. Kwakye Ofosu is here today saying what? We overspent. See the contradiction. A party that was not, a government that was not spending.
Did I say you overspent?
Oh, but you just indicated that we even overspent.
You spent more.
No, I said,
is that not what you said?
I said that you will spend more than. Oh my God. But the expenditure you are spending is not, you see, if you want clarification, let me clarify.
In 20, okay.
I don't need any clarification.
Okay. Because I think there's clarity in what you said.
So that contradiction is mind-boggling. First of all, you need to understand the economy that we inherited.
A very good one for that matter.
And I think that the good people of this country know the kind of economy we inherited.
A very good economy.
You are saying this to the Ghanaian
yes, people. A very good economy. A very good economy. Economy.
Focus economy to the
5.8. How much are you going to 2024? No, 2024. Tell me how much the GDP growth is.
Are you done screaming?
Yes, I'm done.
Are you done screaming?
No, he wasn't screaming.
So, Kojo, you see, first of all, we all know the economy we inherited. We inherited an economy that was in a debt distress. We inherited an economy for the first time that we were told that we were being locked out of the capital markets. We couldn't borrow because of the recklessness of the past regime. We inherited an economy that lost
but
hold.
Kojo doesn't agree with this. So why don't you just...
But it's not a fact. An economy that grew at 5.9% can be a bad economy. But you grew at 5.9%. How can it be a bad economy?
You are speaking out.
You would even not grow. Listen, the projection for the growth...
Are you going to allow him to do this on this?
No, go ahead.
So you see, we inherited an inflation that was clearly nauseating, to say the least. He knows. Today, all these indices have shown positive signs of recovery. And the government is even being careful in the way we celebrate them because we know that the Ghanaian people are expecting sustainability and a reflection of the management of the economy in their economic and social life. And that is what this government is committed to. That's one. MFA, even with that, the first economic action His Excellency President Mahama took when he came to office, remember, it's a directive to the minister responsible for finance, Dr. Felix Ofosu, to do what? To pay bonds that had matured, loans that you guys had secured. That was the first act of expenditure, clearing your debts you had accumulated recklessly in the last 8 years. That was the first economic action of the president and his finance minister. And so if there's even any semblance of expenditure that causes financial distress to Ghana's books, it is an attempt to clean the mess that you subjected us to. So expectedly, we would have to spend to retire many of the debts you recklessly accumulated. That's one aspect of it. MFA today, we've been able to manage the economy to a stage because we indicated that we're going to control government expenditure, and we did control government expenditure. The recklessness, the entirety of last year, did you see the government borrowing? Did you see any, what's the name, borrowing proposals before the Parliament of Ghana for approval?
You borrow domestically.
I'm talking about
but you're borrowing, so don't say you don't borrow. Please correct it.
Yes,
you
so
borrow.
let me say external. Did you see us borrow externally? Absolutely not.
Talking about external borrowing.
No, he said borrow.
Okay. And that's why, Oba, if you are going to borrow, do you have to go to Parliament to borrow domestically?
No, but you borrow domestically.
No, but let me make the point. So, MFA, you see, these are the measures that this government rolled out the whole of last year. But the important thing is that when you stabilize the economy and you get your indicators right, and you told the Ghanaian people to tighten their belt, that was last year, and ensure that we go through these measures to get hold of our economy. And they actually complied, and they did. It is only proper, after getting your indices right, for you to now bring a policy that makes finance available to the private sector especially, so that they can expand and take advantage of your managed economic indices to grow.
In simple terms, what do you mean?
In simple terms, the policy rate reduction is simply done to ensure that resources are injected once more to the economy, especially this year. Because if the policy rate is higher, commercial banks will not borrow. Individual businesses will be afraid to borrow because of the high interest rates. You were mobbing out excess liquidity to control inflation so that you don't have a situation where we have more money chasing fewer goods.
But I could just point
now
out
the economy has
some of these measures that you're putting in place is not allowing you to mobilize revenue.
Oh,
so if you
that is why I've told you that. You see, the objective last year was not just about mobilization of revenue. It was getting hold out of our economy. Even government, central government itself had to make sacrifices. Because we were dealing with an economy that was sliding into abyss.
Then it proceeds.
So if you are calling on the people to make sacrifices, even government anticipated a situation where our ability to raise revenue would be affected. But there was a need for us to build these blocks in place to ensure that 2026 we take advantage of these sacrifices we made in 2025. That is why the policy rate has come down. What government is simply communicating to you is that we are at a stage where we are now ready to make access to loans or funds available at a cheaper rate to commercial banks who would also take it and in turn give it to individual businesses to invest and expand their businesses so that they can employ so many people. That is the simple English policy rate reduction is telling you. The government is now at a stage where it needs to spend money.
Let me bring
Is that not the case, my brother?
Solomon.
I am very surprised. I mean,
my brother is talking about gold, and I should have responded even to that. Gold board and that of the...
Sami Jenfi has responded many times to this
the sort of economists we are being treated to by communicators of the MPP, not Kwadwo alone. I'm interested in Kwadwo upon Chroma. I sometimes
because you don't read the budget. Do you read the budget?
I mean, I read budget every day.
The budget? So what we are saying is wrong or right?
It's wrong. When you listen to me, you would understand that you are wrong.
Please go ahead.
First of all, every government's duty is to play within the constitution of the country. Now, the Bank of Ghana is a creature of the constitution. What's the role of the Bank of Ghana? You have the constitution before you. So you go to Article 183, and it specifies what exactly the Bank of Ghana is supposed to do. Article 183, Article 183, 2A. It said the Bank of Ghana shall promote and maintain the stability of the currency of Ghana. Simplicity. So the only stated objective of the Bank of Ghana, I mean the main stated objective of the Bank of Ghana is to stabilize our currency. So when I hear my brothers from the NPP have issues with the fact that the Bank of Ghana is intervening in the market and is so doing, stabilizing the currency, and they have a problem with that, I get worried. That's
concerned that is not sustainable.
What is not sustainable? During their tenure, between 2017 to 2024, they invested close to $7.5 billion. What were they trying to do? They were trying to stabilize the currency. So what is wrong with that? In any case, the duty of every government is to make sure that you and I are happy. Right. So what is the point in keeping dollars at the Bank of Ghana and allowing a so-called dictates of the demand and supply. Who told you demand and supply? The open market, when it's the open market, it just play by itself. People sit back and engineer it. So if you're a government and a serious one for that matter, you must also intervene to make sure that your people are well to do. We are talking about a policy rate that has been reduced to 15.5%. Yes, from the movement for the United Party perspective, we believe that's still high, but it is way, way better. In 2024, December, we were doing a policy rate of 27%. So if within a year it's been brought down to 15.5%, it means almost 12% has been taken off it. And this freeze market, mind you, it's not even every bank in this country that borrows from the Bank of Ghana. You have a lot of international banks who will be getting it lower. So they will not be going by the Bank of Ghana's policy rate, and it will further reduce interest rates that are made available to the teeming Ghanaian businesses. That is the only way we could expand the economy of this country. If you look at our employment trajectory, the public sector is only employing not more than 700,000 people. The bulk or the majority of Ghanaians who are employed in the private sector. And how do you help the private sector? One of the ways is to reduce their interest rate for them. You have been hearing Nigerians fighting Ghanaians at tiptoe here. The only difference has been that whereas they were enjoying a relatively cheaper interest rate, Ghanaians were enjoying a higher interest rate. And guess what? With this 15.5%, Ghana has overtaken Nigeria. Nigeria is now doing around 27%. Ghana is doing 15%. If this will translate into advancing more loans to Ghanaians at a lower rate, our businessmen and women must be doing better than the Nigerians to take advantage of that. And you will not be seeing the fighting that is happening at Tipto. And I believe that the Bank of Ghana must work assiduously to further reduce this interest rate. Because with our next West African neighbors, you go to Ivory Coast, they are doing 5.25%. You go to Burkina, they are doing 5.25%. Togo, they are doing 5.25%. So we are still not competitive. And that is why we must keep fighting. Now you come back to an issue of gold for oil. I'm very surprised that they keep referring to it. If I were the new Patriotic Party, that would be one of the policies that we consider as a sin, and then go back. Already you have apologized to her through Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Now you were sorry. What was he apologizing? When he said he was sorry to the people of this country, what was he sorry about? What was he sorry about?
You see, I've already warned you on this, your generalization. Stop it. Honestly, stop it. Dr. Bawumia has not apologized on gold for oil. It's the most innovative, it's the most creative, and it's what Ghana is being saved. The gold purchase program in Ghana today is what the city is relying on, is what the NDC is relying on. Speak the truth and speak the fact, please.
First of all, let me retract the word warn. Can you warn me? You can't warn me.
No, I never said I'm warning you. I said...
How can you warn? How can you...
If I said that, then
it's not good. It's not good.
Sorry, I wouldn't do that, my brother.
First of all,
that's not first of all, that's second of all. Second of all. Yes.
You were in this country when Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia apologized to the entire country that we are sorry. Can you play back that?
He said for the things that we did wrong.
But I'm pointing out the things that you did wrong.
It's one of the best. How can it be wrong? How can it be wrong?
You get BPO.
No, stop it.
You get BPO.
How can go for oil be wrong?
No.
Go for oil, that saved the country.
When Dr. Mahmoud
Bawumia saved the country.
No, I'm coming there. I'll come. Now, I was supposed why it was the most...
So how about you go on and do that first?
So you want me to read the Bank of Ghana letter?
So the mistake.
You want me to read the Bank of Ghana letter on air?
So let me even deal with that. In 2024, the Bank of Ghana's own financial statement, we were told by the Bank of Ghana that the gold for oil resulted in a loss of 1.82.
No. Gold for reserves.
It was gold for reserves.
No, gold for oil. Gold for oil. I can put my integrity on the line. Take it.
But you are putting your integrity on the line. Everybody's watching you and you are lying. Brother, listen to me, please.
I thought it was gold for
oil. No, but I say that in 2024, please, the gold for oil resulted in the loss of 1.82 billion to the Bank of Ghana.
1.82
billion Ghana cedis to us.
Let me educate.
No, first of all,
let me educate.
You are not educating.
Let me educate you.
No, you are not educated. You have not educated.
There is 1.8 billion losses for the gold transaction which happened in 2024.
For what?
Happened in 2024 for buying of gold.
And it's not true, it's for gold for oil.
No, buying of gold.
What are your producers doing?
Buying of gold. But I have the letter. I have the letter here.
Show me the letter.
Okay,
show me the letter.
Show you the letter.
And I'll also look for my Bank of Ghana statement, income statement for you.
Please pull out the information.
What are we talking about?
The Bank of Ghana issued a statement. There was 2.1 billion, 2.14 billion losses Oh, brother, why you won't listen?
It is my time. Why are you taking my time?
Then dispute on truth.
Actually, let's hear you.
You have been lying all day.
I'm verifying a few of the facts. So
what I'm saying is that the gold for oil led to a loss of 1.82 billion to the Bank of Ghana per their own
in 2024
per their own income statement. And I'm very clear in my mind.
Okay.
And nobody can say that I'm lying here. You understand? And I still insist that one of the reasons why we must not entertain this gold for oil was that when the gold for oil was introduced into December 2022, what was the purpose of it? They said the world market prices of oil was skyrocketing and that we didn't have enough dollar. So the best or the innovative way of dealing with that daily rise of cost of petroleum was to bring the gold for oil. At the time, a liter of diesel in December 2022 was going for between 15 cedis to 16 cedis in Ghana here. Now, you fast forward to 2024 and it's still, the value was still the same. You understand? You are still buying diesel between 15 and 16 cedis. So what at all did that gold for oil came to change? It did not change anything, and you say it was an innovative way. In any case, when you sell your this thing, when you sell your I mean, I have it here. Not about I mean, I have never. This is a document. 1.82 billion. I don't know which document that you
1.82 for what?
For gold for oil. You don't give one.
No. From your own document. Hold on. From this document, this is the one that Multimedia did, Bank of Ghana.
Yes.
Hold on.
I gave you the document. Check for G4O.
Hold on.
Yes. Check for G4O.
Hold on.
Yes.
It says 1.82, right?
Yes.
Hold on.
Yes.
Now, let me read the Bank of Ghana letter.
So,
but that's the Bank of Ghana letter. That's the letter.
But let me read. Let me listen.
You come here and tell us
it is
listen, it's not gold for oil. Please.
It's gold for oil. Listen.
Let me explain.
And they explain it here. From the table above, G4O losses include losses from both gold and oil transactions.
Hold on.
Under the program.
Absolutely.
You guys.
Gold for oil.
What are you talking about?
To be educated. Be educated.
How you
educated by
educating anybody?
Educated by Kojo.
Because we're not educating you. We're not confusing your listeners.
This is the letter. Let me read the letter.
Are you challenging it?
Yes, I am challenging.
Oh, she's challenging.
Let me read it.
I'll give you my time.
Let me read it.
Ridicule yourself. You go.
Gold Bank of Ghana was doing two things. Bank of Ghana was buying gold. Under the domestic gold reserve program, Bank of Ghana was doing two things. Bank of Ghana was buying gold and then using the gold to pay for import of products. Part of that gold was also being kept under the gold for reserves. So the Bank of Ghana goes on to say this. At the close of financial year, a cumulative loss of 2.14 billion was incurred on the G4O program. Listen to this very well. The loss on gold, the loss on gold transaction amounted to 1.8 billion, which was mainly due to exchange rate differential, the exchange rate used in local gold market for gold purchases and back internal. The loss on petroleum trading amounted to only 340 million.
So what? So beautiful.
The same Bank of Ghana.
Listen.
The same Bank of Ghana.
This was the request for information.
Absolutely.
That OB filed at the Bank of Ghana and their response. It says net G4O losses.
Gold for oil.
Is what? 1.82. So it was right. And it goes to further explain it. And so I don't understand why.
Right. Let me tell you.
So let me also read the letter.
Because the governor.
You work with the Bank of Ghana.
Hold on. The governor.
You are lying to the people. Somebody's lying. I will not sit down here.
Kojo, I held up
the governor.
I'm trying to provide information.
No, because the governor sat at PAC.
Everything is so.
The governor sat at PAC and lied.
Yes. Listen to what the letter says. From the table above, net G4O losses include losses from both gold and oil transactions under the program.
That's it.
While net gold for reserve losses include losses from both ASM gold and other segments of the gold for reserve program.
That's it.
Now, listen to this.
Everything now. You are not working with Bank of Ghana.
My brother, listen. When Honorable Abner asked that.
We are dealing with figures.
Hold on. When Honorable Abner.
Information came after him.
Before. This was done before. When Honorable Esiama
to take the gold component
out of that was what was. Hold on. But what I'm telling you that the gold board losses, where is it from? The gold bond losses.
I did say I've given up.
Thank you. See, you're asking me which gold bond losses.
Gold bond has not made any loss.
Thank you. Gold bond has not made any loss. But hold on. You see that you say gold bond has not made any loss.
I am unable to.
But you are talking about.
What I'm saying to you is that you would want to act. Listen, in one breath, gold bond has not made any losses. But Bust, who was doing gold for oil, had made losses of 1.8. But when it comes to losses, gold board has not made any losses. Meanwhile, that is what I'm saying, that the reason Aikojo Poku have sat on this platform multiple times and told the Ghanaians that the losses that was going on in 2024 is still ongoing at Bank of Ghana and Gold Board. And I was proven right by the IMF even before. Hold on. Even before.
Have you smuggled him into the whole
even before, my brother. Even before the IMF came out, even before the IMF came out, I have told them that there was losses going on. Because, listen, please, the Bank of Ghana governor, when he sat in front of the park,
already you have said he's a liar.
He said that he's a liar. He couldn't, yes, because he couldn't prove.
Everything
he had.
You are reading the line on his document.
Hold on.
And he said he's a liar.
In that letter, he says there's a 3.8 billion losses.
Oh, why are you shifting
in 2020?
Okay.
So let me.
I'm gonna have to. Please conclude and let's end the show.
He could not. The governor couldn't show in his own financials where the 3.8.
Let me allow Kojo. Do you know why? Because there's a measure of these two figures, and then the RTI also puts the 1.8 billion under the gold for oil.
Absolutely.
So I'll leave it for my audience to
Don't leave that in
but just
no, but even they explained it.
Conclude.
In conclusion,
I don't know.
The gold for oil was a bogus policy.
It was.
To the country.
To the Ghanaians, it saved.
I
can even read.
Are you allow him to say?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for making time for us. We're going to have to wrap the show.
So I'm down to.
Because
no, see that to him. We're ending the show.
Because
you had your time.
But you can't sit there and speak on truth when the Bank of Ghana said that.
Why did you get figures
the Bank of Ghana.
So you go and tell your own figures. Bank of Ghana.
Solomon has to go somewhere else. In fact, he's the reason why I'm ending the show.
Because
that's not the reason why.
When the governor went, he couldn't even speak his own language.
But you didn't allow Solomon.
Solomon, sit down till we go off screen before.
You allow him to come.
Well, please stay. We'll wrap the show shortly, but there's more. It's sponsored by Shield Silicon Paint from Azar Group, Syntex Pipes, and Time Herbal Mixture. Now, businesses are turning down mobile money payments from consumers as cases of mobile fraud continue to rise across the country. Speaking to Joy Business, some business owners say growing concerns over fraud coupled with mobile money charges are discouraging them from accepting mobile payments, raising questions about trust, cost, and the future of digital transactions in Ghana. There's more in this report coming up.
As mobile money remains the backbone of daily transaction for millions of Ghanaian businesses and customers, rising fraud cases are forcing some businesses to turn to cash. This is raising some questions about safety, trust, and the future of digital payments. Today, we examine Momo fraud, why some businesses are refusing to take mobile money as payments from customers. For some businesses, this is not a matter of convenience, but a matter of protection for their businesses.
Some businesses don't accept Momo transactions because someone might, or a customer might send money to your number, and then at the end of the day, they'll call an agent or a customer service to make a reversal for them. Someone came to purchase food, he came to buy food. So the person sent money, that was 30 cedis for the food. And the person left. The person made a complaint to MTN about wrong transaction. The person made the complaint. They sent me a message. They said, yellow valid customer. The transfer of amount of 31 cedis from so and so number has been reheld and is pending reversal within 15 days. Thank you. They didn't call me. I didn't receive a call from them, but that was just what the message I got from them. So the transaction, whether it happened or didn't happen, I have no idea about it.
I don't take mobile money because some don't add the charges, or because Matwa there 10 cedis. Why should I add 1 cedi to be 11 cedis? No. Once I'm paying 10 cedi, I'm paying 10 cedi. So I can't take 10 cedis. And when you go and withdraw to charges, they will deduct charges, which means your 10 cedi is going to reduce to 9 cedi, meaning you've lost. So I don't take Momo.
Some people, they defraud us, and some too don't add charges to the money, so it's really difficult for us to take Momo.
While businesses are trying to protect themselves, customers say this decision comes at a cost. They claim being unable to make payments with mobile money whilst purchasing creates inconvenience, and sometimes they have to walk away from purchase.
It's very, very bad because today in this 21st century, you don't have Momo. How are you going to work? I think you have to have this Momo account so that at least when we come to buy things, we can be able to pay with Momo.
Carrying money along you is quite stressful because we are in the 21st century, you know. So we need to be digital. So anytime I go out and I buy something and the person says I didn't take Momo, I don't feel comfortable.
I believe Momo transaction is efficient, it's convenient, and literally it makes everything easier, faster.
To address these concerns, mobile network operators have assured customers that measures are being put in place to strengthen the combat against fraud.
We've been running mobile money for the past 16 years, okay? And today, the assurance that the businesses will have is the fact that your money is safe on your wallet. Since we launched the service, nobody, no single business or individual has come to us and say, I have money on my wallet, the money just vanished. It has never happened before because your PIN is your secret. The system is safe, foolproof. That is the assurance that we can give to each and every individual that no matter what you do, we can assure you that your money cannot move without you disclosing your PIN or you moving money out of your wallet yourself to somebody. Because there are several schemes that people try to find ways to get to people. And that's why we keep on educating our customers to say, look, we are protecting you, we are safeguarding your money. So you also have to safeguard it by also protecting your PIN. Okay, that is the assurance that we can give them, in fact, that you cannot sit down, money in your wallet, and money has moved out of your wallet. It is not possible. Money cannot move out of your wallet without you either disclosing your PIN to somebody or you willingly transferring the money because somebody has said something to you and then you send money. Okay, when people call you and say they've sent you money, the easiest way is to let them to call the service provider. I mean, you cannot do anything. They should send a service provider. Service provider will investigate and then do the needful.
He further outlined some measures businesses and customers can take to avoid becoming victims of mobile money fraud.
Please adhere to the 3 golden rules that we keep on telling you. 1, do not disclose your PIN. It's your secret. Even to your wife or to your husband, do not disclose your PIN. Because once you disclose your PIN, then you compromise your wallet. Never allow anybody to do transactions on your behalf. Because once you allow somebody to do transactions on your behalf, then you are disclosing your PIN. And the third thing is never discuss any wallet transaction that involves your PIN or your wallet with anybody. If MTN or mobile money will call you, there's a number that we call 0244 300,000. That's the only number that we used to call. Any number that call that is not 0244 300,000, please do not discuss your wallet with them. Report those numbers and we'll take actions on those numbers. Thank you very much.
For businesses, the trust for mobile money transaction has reduced, and until this trust is fully restored, the question remains, will mobile money remain Ghana's preferred transaction mode, or will fraud push businesses back to cash? For Joy Business, Sarah Isnam Etiemo reports.
And on to climate, the dry wind sweeps across the wide plains of Ghana's Savannah region, carrying with it the dust of a land growing weaker each year. Once green farmlands now crack under the sun's heat, while rivers and streams dry up long before the next rainy season arrives. Here, the changing climate is forcing people into desperate choices and turning neighbors into rivals. Across the region, rising temperatures, erratic rainfall, and the gradual southward march of the Sahara are systematically destroying farmlands, the water sources. Now, the result is growing tensions between local farmers and migrant headmen, each struggling to survive on shrinking lands. What was once a peaceful coexistence is now a battle for survival. Now, every acre of land is precious. So, when large herds of cattle arrive, trampling crops in search of pasture and water, the result is anger and catastrophic loss.
For the herdsmen, migration is no choice. It is survival. Their cattle are their livelihood and their culture. As pastures in the Sahel dry up, many are forced to migrate south into Ghana, driving conflict. The General Secretary of Fulbe in Ghana, Yakubu Musa Bari, argues that the herders are victims of circumstance.
It's because of the climate change. You know, if the climate change, even if the herdsman did not move the animals themselves will move. I get to look for a pasture and look for water to take. So this is the difficulties we are facing. So the best thing is that the government have to find ways of finding a proper grazing lands separate from the farming areas.
But when herds enter farmlands, farmers see it as an invasion, an attack on their sweat and their survival. These encounters lead to heated confrontations, destruction of property, and sometimes the tragic loss of life.
The year 2020, the Fulani man has to cudgel my uncle in the farm, in his grandma's farm, and he became paralyzed and died after 3 years. You see what the Fulani herdsmen are doing to us. I think it's not so good for us in Savannah region.
On the other side, Musa Jallo, a migrant herdsman from Mali, speaks of his desperate journey. For Jallo, the open land is meant for all. His way of life is a tradition passed down through generations. He says he feels misunderstood and unfairly blamed, even though he is only trying to keep his animals and his family alive. During the dry season, when rivers dry up and food is scarce, tensions peak. Starving and thirsty cattle stray into farms, and farmers fight back. To stop the cycle of misunderstanding, the Savannah Regional Peace Council, led by a Catholic priest, created a mixed mediation community-level dialogue platform.
The general complaint has always been that of, violence between the two groups, based on the fact that cattle go to the farms to destroy their produce, that mostly herders took their cattle to the farms in the night, so midnight or night grazing, galvanize the, proposal for dialogue, engagement, and also the formation of the mixed mediation committees.
His efforts later yielded something positive at Makuma, Malue, Madari, and Tinga communities, where community members were able to pay back 94,000 Ghana cedis to the farmers as compensation. While crucial, dialogue alone cannot fix a problem rooted in land scarcity and climate change. The intervention must be structural. The only consensus-driven, long-term solution to end open grazing and prevent further bloodshed is the establishment of controlled, modern livestock ranching facilities. The Savannah Regional Minister Salisu Bey Awuribe strongly supports the model.
Private investor can come, be able to provide that facility, of course for a fee, for the number of cattle that will be under his or her control. And this can be another way, because when you provide it, you must provide water. The animals, apart from grazing, must have water to feed. Some wells may be dug or some dams may be constructed. And all this is something that we can think through to be able to have a better way of harnessing the animals. There are countries whereby indeed their flock is more than us, and they are getting the highest and best use of their land and flock, but they don't have this type of conflict.
Some experts in the sector agree that a robust public-private partnership model is the key to ensuring the sustainability and success of these new ranches.
There was a time that government decided to bring the policy of creating pastures and paddocks so that at some point all animals would be diverted to those pasture lands and paddocks. This project or this policy has been in the pipeline for so long, but it looks like it has not been implemented. And I would wish that if we can take up this project once again or revive it, it will help us a lot, because we are experiencing a huge number of animals in our, especially in Savannah region.
Without investment in a sustainable future, peace will not come through violence or eviction. It will require dialogue, planning and immediate investment in climate adaptation infrastructure. There's an urgent need to establish PPP frameworks and solicit bids and investment for modern commercial ranching facilities in designated areas where infrastructure investment is needed. In clear grazing corridors, drought-resistant crops and efficient irrigation systems for farmers is the way to go. Both farmers and herders are victims of the same climate crisis. But with the ranching platform, it will pave the way for peace of mind for the farmer and assured pasture for the herder. As one elder put it during a community meeting, when the land fights back, no one wins. Isaac Nonye's report for JoyNews. This story is brought to you by JoyNews in partnership with CDKN Ghana, University of Ghana Center for Climate Change and Sustainability Studies, with funding from Claire R41 Opportunities Fund.
And that's how we wrap up the show today. I am Emefa Akosiaditi. Thank you so much for making time with us. But please stay for News Desk with Mami Esinyamiche Thompson.
Thank you.